Good afternoon. Yes, it's a monster day, all right, in Doha. We've had team drama already in the desert, but now it's every man for himself. Today, it is the men's individual all-around contest. 6 pieces of apparatus will reveal gymnastics' leading man on the global stage. Now, if you have a Halloween nightmare on any of them, you probably won't be climbing onto that middle podium. Now, Beth Twiddle very rarely had a nightmare performance on any piece of apparatus, I have to say, and you got a bit of precious metal from days like this in individual all-around contests. What does it take to be successful on a day such as today, Beth?
For the men especially, they've got 6 pieces of apparatus to complete, so keeping that concentration and knowing that if they've made a small error or a big error, they've got to put it behind them and get straight back up and complete the rest of their routines.
Concentration, absolutely to the forefront here. But, you know, this is the blue ribbon event in gymnastics. But when you think about the all-rounders in other sports, I'm thinking possibly heptathlon, decathlon and athletics, maybe omnium in cycling, the individual medley in swimming. Yes, they are fantastically valued prizes, but they're perhaps not, if these sports will forgive me, the blue ribbon event. That's not true in gym, though, is it?
It's not. I think from such a young age, whether you're in the women's and you do 4 pieces or the men's and you do 6, that's what you train from the young age. Everyone wants to become the all-around champion, and especially on a world stage. It is such an honour to be able to say, I am the world all-around champion. So everyone's fighting for that spot.
But in these days of increased specialisation in events, how much extra work does it actually take to succeed in the all-round contest?
I mean, obviously, every gymnast will have to plan their training, and if you're doing 6 pieces of apparatus, you've only got the same amount of hours in the day as the gymnasts that are doing maybe 1 or 2 apparatus. So you've got to train a lot smarter. You have to work with your coaches to decide on the difficulty you're going to put in, how are you going to manage that execution versus the difficulty. So it is a lot more sort of probably tactical, working with your coaches, right, where are my strengths? I can really build that apparatus, and you're not always going to have 6 pieces that are top-notch. So for that 1 piece that is weak, how do I make it the best that I can? Well,
in a British context, there's been some success recently. Daniel Keatings and Max Whitlock have both taken silver on the world stage. And then, of course, Max, in 2016 at the Olympic Games, took a bronze medal in this contest. But Max, of course, is not competing in the all-round now. It's just floor and pommel for him. So in his absence from this, we've got Bryn Bevan and we have James Hall. And now they have qualified in what is a real banner day for them. It's the first time they've made it to the final of the men's World Championship all-around final.
Are we ready to rumble?
Just to be back on the world stage again, mixing it up with like the big names of big countries. It's been a good 1.5 years for me that I've kind of had out with the injuries and stuff. It's been a long time for me trying to get back and get fit enough to get myself back in the team. It's just so good to be back.
I've been described as the Iceman. I don't show much emotion on the competition floor. I get in the zone and I just focus on the job, and yeah, cool character, I like that. I'll continue to do that, and you know, it seems to be paying off. To come here and do all around and qualify it. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be exciting. I'll have my coach on the floor with me, so it'll be incredible.
Whatever happens, it must be so satisfying to currently, on qualifying, be 7th best on all 6 apparatus in the world.
It's crazy. It's like, I'm sure I say it for every competition, but you know, you see these guys on the TV when you're a youngster and you think that's incredible. And someone like Dan Purvis, who at almost every World Championships he went to, he was top 10, and it was like, you know, just to be like that guy. Maybe I'm halfway there now, but it's coming to fruition at the moment, so it's an exciting time.
It's pretty crazy thinking back like a few weeks ago when I wasn't even meant to be competing and I was just the reserve, to step in at the last minute and qualify for my first individual final. Hopefully I'll challenge for some of the top spots, and if I hit the best routines I can, there is the chance of challenging for a medal.
Well, as you were hearing, James qualified in 7th, Bryn in 11th place, and as he says himself, it was supposed to be Niall Wilson going in this final, but Niall obviously injured himself in the build-up. Wasn't even really supposed to be in Doha at all. He's really making the most of his chance here.
He is, and It's a real tough mental journey, that, to sit there knowing that you're doing your routines to help the team just to be the reserve, and then suddenly you're called up and then you're in the all-around final. He's had a tough road getting up here because of injury. We can see him in the back gym warming up now, ready for the competition. But do you know what, he's had a tough road, and it is so nice to see him back competing. And obviously Scott Hahn, his personal coach, also coach to Max, will be very proud to see yet another one of his gymnasts in an all-around final.
He will indeed, and there is James Hall, living up to his Mr. Dependable Iceman tag, we hope. A breakthrough 18 months for him. That's a cracking tattoo, by the way. Christ the Redeemer from Rio. He was in the British Olympic team in Rio in the team final. Realistically, what can they expect? And if it's not going to be on the medal table for them on the podium, who will be, Beth?
Yeah, so for James, I think it's really quite realistic to say top 6. He had a fall in qualification. He can move up. We've seen him grow in confidence. He picked up a European bronze medal at the Europeans in 2017, so he knows what it takes to be on that podium and to be up there with the best. But do you know what? We've got a lot of strong contenders out there. I mean, Rotang of China, current world champion. You've got Nagorny, who had that disappointment of not quite picking up the team title. So there's a lot of strength in there.
Now, this man you mentioned, Zhao Rotang of China, he is the defending champion. Now, his physique, is this best suited for the all-rounder? What is the ideal, do you think? Does he fit the bill?
Yeah, for a lot of the all-arounders, they tend to be very light framed. We saw, obviously, Max be very successful, and he's got a very similar frame. So a lot of them today, you'll see, have that slighter, leaner figure.
OK, but he qualified only 0.2 ahead in first place from Nikita Nagorny, the guy who was at the sharp end of the team event final as well on the high bar. If you were watching on Monday, you'll remember. Now, his physique, his power is much more conspicuous here, isn't it?
It is. He is a lot more powerful, but he is actually, when you see him in real life, he is still very, very tiny. But if he can replicate that vault, he will be pushing himself right up the ranks. He's very powerful on floor. You'll see him do a triple back. So he, with his high bar, it's not as strong, so he'll need to bring up the ranks.
But this is Arthur Dalalian from Russia, and that mistake there in the team event was in effect the difference between Russian silver and Chinese gold. And he's got a point to prove today in this fight.
He has. He won't want that disappointment to continue. He took it really tough. He was in tears at the end of that competition, and he'll hopefully will have taken that and used that as a frustration and think, right, I need to fight back. And if he can go clean on pommels, he is going to be the kind of dark horse of this competition.
We shall see. If it's not going to be a Russian or a Chinese, is it going to be Sam Mikulak from America, 26? He's won a lot of things, but he's never got himself in an individual medal placing at the World.
He hasn't. He's always been there or thereabouts, but unfortunately we have seen him be quite inconsistent. We saw him fall in the team final. He fell earlier in the year at his national championships, where he was going to be only the second man to win 5 national championships. So the pressure can get to him, so it'll be interesting to see how he takes it, finishing 3rd from qualification today, going into this final.
I think there's a real soft spot from gymnastics devotees for Oleg Vernayev, though, of Ukraine. This was the man who really pushed Kohei Uchimura, that multiple all-around champion from Japan at the Rio Olympics. Now, he's really been in the wars, hasn't he? Quite literally back in Ukraine. He's had knee and shoulder injuries since then, and there he is, getting himself all fixed up here. Is it too much too soon to expect success here?
I think it's obviously his first all-around competition back after that surgery. After Rio, he didn't take a break like most of the gymnasts did. He battled on through and then had to have that surgery at the end of last year. So it'll be interesting to see, can he pull himself right up today? But he's a competitor.
We shall see. Will we have a cliffhanger today? I think we probably will. So it's live from Doha. It will all be sorted out in about 2.5 hours' time. Relax, sit back and enjoy this. And we will do so in the company of Craig Heap, Christine Still and Alison Mitchell. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hazel. We can't wait for this one, and we're underway with Sun Wei of China, one of the 2 Chinese gymnasts, of course, and a teammate of the defending champion Zhao Rotang. So let's take it away and see how Sun Wei gets on.
Well, this is his 3rd tumble. You've seen he's already managed to be competently through his first 2 all-important landings. There we go, just 2 little hops back tiny deductions for that, but much, much better than taking big steps that the judges really do deduct quite heavily on. Sun Wei is the least experienced gymnast in this final. But coping very nicely at the moment. Really brought that under control. Look at the side to see, he's waiting for the bell to say that if he finishes now, this has to be a bit of a deduction. He hears the bell and here he goes into a lovely twisting dismount. Big step forwards, but that's quite unusual. They have a minimum and a maximum time, and he was waiting for the bell to show you that he'd gone past the minimum time.
Yeah, I think showing a little bit of lack of inexperience there, because he certainly waited a long time before that final tumble. Rest of the routine, really good. Some big tumbles in there. There you can see wraps in, 2.5 twist into the straight front with half turn. So connecting those skills gives the gymnast a little bit more bonus. So that adds to the difficulty score. The pause before the final tumble. Chinese gymnast noted for twisting so well, but big deduction on that final. He did well actually to stop his knees touching the ground. I think a bit of a sigh of relief and a few nerves there.
Yeah, but yeah, he'll be pleased to have got through that first tumble without bouncing out the area.
Well, I mentioned Zhao Rutang, Sun Wei's teammate and defending champion. It's worth just laying out at the outset that if Zhao Rutang does manage to successfully defend his title, he'll be only the second Chinese gymnast ever to manage that at the World Championships when it comes to the men's all-around. But Sun Wei is part of the leading group in the top 6 qualifiers. 13.633 then for Sun Wei, getting his competition underway. It is an improvement on the score he managed in qualifying. It's always good just to know you've got that first piece done and dusted. Now the rings. It's that devilish piece of apparatus. And it's the second group of gymnasts, third group of gymnasts who start on the rings, including from Ukraine, Oleg Fanayev, who you saw there in hospital with his leg in plaster and his shoulders strapped up, and he's really come through the mill in terms of injuries, but he really is probably the most decorated gymnast who is in this all-around final. When you consider the medals he has won, he's a 2-time Olympic medalist. He's the reigning Olympic parallel bars champion. He was the silver medalist in the all-around at Rio. And he has 3 world medals to his name, 12 European medals. And he's still got a lot of strapping there, hasn't he, in the wake of that surgery?
Certainly has, and this is a real piece of apparatus to test that shoulder out. Some pieces you can get to a little bit quicker, and we'll just hope he can get through. No hesitation there. Circle round into the Maltese position. And again from the back up rise. Into a crucifix. Double front, into the double pike. Into the front somersault to crucifix, known as the Homner. Could be held a little bit longer. Gymnast must show at least 2 seconds in these strength positions. They actually have a machine that measures the pressure on the rings to see if they've been held long enough. Double twisting, double back, nails the landing. Good, solid start for Nayev.
Well, not bad at all. He did a World Cup event earlier in the season, and the one piece he didn't do was rings, wasn't it, Craig? So it's obviously been the final apparatus to get back in the whole 6, but he looked well in control there. Very nice position held in that situation, and he's always been a great gymnast for swinging. A real all-rounder, isn't he? He's good at all pieces. Shoulders were a little bit high in that crucifix. I think just back from shoulder surgery, we'll forgive him that.
Absolutely, and just to think 2 years ago, this is the guy that pushed Uchimura all the way in that all-round competition in the Olympic Games. And a lot of people thought he potentially should have took the title, me being one of them. So it's great to see him back.
Yes, was the natural successor really to Uchimura.
Such a pedigree. Here's someone who perhaps hasn't quite lived up to the pedigree and the form that they have shown in domestic competitions. Samuel Michalak has got plenty of experience for the USA, but yet to really make that big breakthrough in terms of a major world medal or a world title. Here he is on floor.
You have to use your power, but harness it as well. Lovely 2.5 twist into double front. Fabulous opening series. 2 very difficult tumbles. And again, fights and holds that landing. Gymnasts have to show some work on the floor that's not acrobatic as well. He's showing his skill in the flares and on his hands. The men, just like the women, have scores for difficulty and for execution. The steps on landing come off execution or the bent legs during a tumble. He's keeping all those execution deductions to a minimum here. See the concentration. Lovely triple twist to finish. Just in the right time. That was a very, very good start for Michalak.
Certainly was. 15 years since the Americans have had a world champion, Paul Hamm, back in 2003. And we have seen a lot of potential from Michalak, but always seems just to fall short on the big stage. But he's certainly got underway very well today and precise on those landings. You can see wraps in. That was a big tumble. The 2.5 twist into the double front somersault. So the more difficult skills you join together, the bigger the bonus points. And great extension in that flare work. Finishes easily there with the triple twist. Should score well.
When he was at the 2017 Worlds, he was coming back from an Achilles injury. Oleg Vanayev, 14.066, so that's an excellent start for him on rings.
Yeah, with what's potentially his weakest apparatus, that really is a good start.
Right, to the vault, where we always see big scores in this apparatus. And Arta Daviatan, who's in the final of this particular apparatus as well on an individual level later in the week.
Such a powerful gymnast. Plus, watch this. Handspring, the double front with a half turn, known as the Dragulescu. After the first gymnast that performed it from Romania, Marian Dragulescu. Such a powerful vaulter. And look at that score, 14.733.
Yeah, good execution score for Daviatan. And enough to put him right up near the top of the leaderboard at these very early stages. To remind you, the gymnasts are split into groups, so they rotate around all 6 pieces, so that's where we're going between apparatus. But here is Nikita Nagorny. He is right up there, one of the favourites to challenge Zhao Ruteng for his world title, and he starts his campaign here.
Just watch this, it's an unbelievable tumble. 1, 2, 3 somersaults and just a little hop. And that was the very risky element that he needed to nail. But he does another absolutely unbelievable tumble back forwards that time. Double twisting, double back, he's so powerful and dynamic. But you know, for all the difficulty, you have to make the landing as well. The deductions are generally higher than the credit you're given for doing the move, so you only can include the move if you're sure you can land. Just the tiniest of hops for these gymnasts who've been in the team final. as the Russian team have. This is their third time of competing out on the podium in 4 days. They're getting used to the atmosphere. Now, this so important to finish. Triple twist, well, that was a real challenge laid down from Nagorny.
It certainly was. Qualified in second, he's in the floor final, third place, but it's so impressive to see a triple back somersault.
14-4 for Sam Mikulak on the floor. And I think he's pleased with that start for his competition. 5 more pieces to come, just in the early days. Pommel horse next for us here. And worth just letting you know that Artur Dalilyan of Russia had a huge score on floor just prior to Mikulak, leading the way so far with 14.8. But let's have a look and see what Kazuma Kaya can do starting his campaign on the pommel horse. He was a world bronze medalist on this apparatus in 2015.
And interesting, Dalilyan has a massive score there, 14.8, but he qualified top with the same score in qualification, so he will go into the floor final as the top qualifier as well. So we've really had a treat of some fantastic floor work to open this competition.
Shame we see some empty seats still in this arena. It was quite a flying atmosphere for the women's team events yesterday. Here goes Kazuma Kaya on pommels then.
Well, he struggled a bit in qualification. They'll be wanting to amend that. Japanese renowned for good swing on the pommel horse. That's a single leg work. Up into the handstand. Good start. Yeah, the double leg circles on the one handle. Building the difficulty. And again, you can see the intricate work on the one handle. Travelling down the horse with turn, that's the woo. Travel and back again. Forward travel, known as the Magyar there. Connects straight into a backward travel. Shivado up into the handstand. Well, a much better start for the young Japanese and a big improvement on qualification.
Yeah, he's only young, isn't he? Well, at 21.
Interestingly, this is a very experienced field out here. Only one teenager in the whole field.
14.733 then for Nikita Nagorny, enough to slot him up into second place. Here is the defending world all-around champion then, Zhao Ruteng. This is his first piece of apparatus. Such an impressive gymnast. And he goes on the floor.
Starts with fabulous 3.5 twist into the straight front with half turn. Not the huge multiple somersaults so far, really precise twisting. But here's the double straight. Gymnasts have to include a multiple somersault, double rotation as well as a twist. Oh, but he just left the chest down there. That will be quite a deduction on that landing. Beautiful flares work, so fast. Lovely extension through all his work. Very nice landing that time, a good pace to the routine. Knows this is so important. He's had one heavyish landing. Very good triple, that was much, much better. But that forward twisting element will be heavily penalised, Craig.
I think so, yeah. The 2.5 twist, shoulders were down. Not one of his favoured pieces of apparatus, actually. This and rings was his lowest scoring apparatus in qualification. But lots of difficulty, nevertheless. That was nice. the double layout, showing good shape and extension in the air. Just those little hops about, and this is what the judge is going to pick up there. This might be it. That's it, into the 2.5, not just fully round, chest down as well. That could be as much as a 0.5.
Let's see what the judges make of it. It's amazing, when he won the world title in 2017, he was the first gymnast in 9 years to win a major all-around title. He wasn't called Kohai Uchimura across World and Olympics. Andrei Muntean then of Romania.
And he's a very powerful gymnast, good on the all-round, but good on vault. That's why, wraps in, half on the 2.5 twisting Sukahara.
Very nice style through this vault. Look how well the legs are locked together. Really knows where the floor is, opens out at exactly the right moment.
And a happy man
Must
with the
be
way
cold
started.
I'm going to say cold in there, he's got his gloves on.
6th place for Kazuma Kaya after his pommel horse routine, 14.1 for the young Japanese. Improvement on qualification, at least. I guess for all these gymnasts, it's about what can they make up. And there are a number who did have falls in qualification. Yes, still made it to the all-around final, of course, but there's a few who certainly can make up some points. And Kenzai Shirai is one of them. Had a fall on pommels, but here he is now on floor.
And this floor is quite exceptional. He is so good at twisting. And he opens there with a fantastic multiple somersault, multiple twist. And again, the first summy was quite low, but he met it and rocketed into the next twist. He twists so fast, you can almost not see how many twists he's put into a somersault. Oh, and that was a 4, a quad twist. He has to have such fantastic spatial awareness to be able to know exactly where he is in the air. Lovely handstand position. Three and a half into front half. Many gymnasts are happy to open with that. That's his penultimate tumble. Here we have the final one. And a relatively quiet triple. That was a hugely difficult routine. Likely to have the biggest difficulty score of the competition.
Certainly has a massive 6.8 in difficulty. Just the way it connects all those big multiple twists. Muntean there on vault, 14.433. Look at execution, 9.233. Cracking vault.
It was a very clean vault, wasn't it?
And well, I was just going to say, to put Shirai in context, his 6.8, the next one is 6.2 on floor for difficulty.
Well, it is his apparatus, isn't it? The 3-time reigning world champion. Here we go on pommels then, and an interesting gymnast here from the Philippines in Carlos Yulo. He is a talent. Getting his campaign underway here.
Certainly is. Starts well in the single leg work. Currently on a scholarship, training in Japan. So he'll be making the most of his first world final. Good execution on the circles there. That's the extension of the hips over the pommel horse and the handles. Full pirouette. Well, a good solid start, and this gymnast will be wanting to see if he can, you know, push into the top 12, and for some gymnasts, that's what this is all about.
And you talked about the mix of experience. He is the youngest, isn't he, at 18? He is the teenager of the pack, so I think one to watch and keep our eye on, and particularly, as Craig mentioned, the Japanese Olympic Committee inviting him over on a scholarship. 13.933 for the reigning world all-around champion. In at 9th position so far. So a lot of time yet to come in this competition.
Certainly has. And floor's become a really difficult piece of apparatus to get a good score. Certainly the landings, easily those tenths, hopping back, 1/10, 3/10, they add up.
Yes, you don't have to make a major error for the score to plummet. You only need a couple of steps.
Oh, twist and shout though. 14.9 puts Kenzo Shirai right at the top of the leaderboard. He was the final gymnast to go on the floor in that leading group. But look at this. Tremendous tumbling.
Yeah, he's got such spatial awareness. But if you think about that 8-1 in execution from 6.8, and you look at the Russian gymnasts, actually the Russian gymnasts are performing their routines cleaner. And if we go to a tie and a count back, it'll be about execution. So he has got the big tricks, a bit like Biles on the women's side, but he just has to watch his execution a little bit, and that's where he's lost that in the past.
Yes, every time the legs cross like that, the judges will deduct a little bit. And of course, they've seen him for a fair few years now. Videos are watched and they'll know where there's likely to be deductions.
Yeah, I can afford a smile, certainly knowing he's at the top looking down on everybody at the moment. But 5 pieces of apparatus, an awful lot can happen. We've got a whole story and plot line to unfold over the next couple of hours here with you. But that quad twist that we saw, I mean, how difficult is that even to just practice and get right as the score comes in? 12-6 for Carlos Ulo, 18-year-old.
Well, I would say the quad twist is twice as difficult as a double twist.
That figures.
But no, it is absolutely phenomenal. There's probably not many gymnasts in the world that can do that in training. Big difference between training and routine. And he can do a quad twist on the vault, we've seen. Maybe in a training situation, not in there. So he's a gymnast that really does love the twisting, but also he's got the big multiple somersaults as well. Triple twisting, double bite, double twisting, double bite. So he is a very special gymnast on that piece of apparatus.
Crowd are certainly getting into it though here. We'll give you the full rundown of the top of the leaderboard as soon as we get all those scores confirmed.
But for Shirai, that is his best piece of apparatus, and he would have wanted to put a fair bit of daylight between himself and the rest of the pack after that first piece of apparatus, because each of these has got the piece they're really good at.
So here is the confirmation. Kenzo Shirai leading from Arta Dalalayan, who had a big floor routine as well, and Arta Daviatan. I can tell you that James Hall managed 13.6 on pommels, where he started his campaign. So sitting a little way down the leaderboard to start with. But James qualified in 7th place for this all-around final. And Bryn Bevan, at the moment, is down there at the bottom, propping things up.
Well, we're hearing there is an inquiry in about Zhao Roteng's score, which was 13.933, which puts him down the defending champion. But Bryn Bevan, he started along with James Hall on the pommel today and has been given a score of 11.633, and that is slightly down on his qualification mark.
It was. He has obviously had a fall. We haven't seen the routine, but you can see it here now. But great form during this routine there. You can see fast moving, keeping the hips open, and they're one of the harder skills to do. You have to be able to control it, to be able to continue into the swing. And there you can just see he caught the edge of the pommel, and that's where he lost the form.
He did, so he's been given 11.633, and this is James Hall. And how do you rate this performance, Beck?
So we know that James has gone up from qualification, which is great for his first piece of apparatus. It's always hard to start on the pommel horse.
Why is that?
But it is the nerve-wracking piece. I mean, the slightest bit off balance and you will come off the pommel horse. There's very little room for error. So you can see here he's keeping his legs locked together throughout the routine. He's keeping his hands moving and his hips are open. So he'll be very pleased to have started this routine. You can see that the dismount was continuous, so he will have got the credit for that.
Yeah, a considerable improvement on his qualification, which he became a cropper on it actually, but 13.666 for James Hall in that first piece. So they're off and running in this men's all-around final, and it's the man who has been 3 times a world floor champion, Kenzo Shirai, who has certainly set the standard so far. Let's get back for the second rotation of the afternoon.
Thank you, Hazel. Well, noting that James Hall and Bryn Bevan move on to rings for this second rotation. And the leading pack, including Kenzo Shirai, Sun Wei and Zhao Ruteng, are on pommels.
Well, I think this is going to be a real test for the second group. Mikulak is a strong piece of apparatus for him, but also the leader, Kenzo Shirai, only scored 12.966. So I think we'll definitely see the top three change after this rotation.
And interestingly, I heard Hazel mention that there was an inquiry put into Zhao Ruteng's floor score that has now been upgraded to 14.133. So an early bit of drama in this men's all-around final. It means he sits in 7th position in the overall standings. So this is the second rotation of 6. And on the vault, we have the two-time European all-around champion, Oleg Fanayev. Powerfully built gymnast. Watched him in his first piece of apparatus. Let's see what he can do to bolster his score with the vault.
Well, parallel bars is the piece he's renowned for. But he's always previously been a dynamic vaulter. Let's see what he is today. Fantastic! Well, you don't get much better than that. He's not so hugely muscled, but he's very, very fast through the air. And he just rocketed off the top of that platform. Really went into orbit, didn't he, Craig?
Well, this is one of his pieces of apparatus. Look, wraps in the handspring, double front, with the half turn, spots the floor. He's up 6/10 from his rings. I think Fanayev today is going to really contend. I think a few people might have thought, you know, he's finished way down the field in qualification, forget it, but it looks like a man on a mission.
Exactly what was going through my mind, Craig, as he hit that vault. Tremendous power and height.
Well, having seen him, the picture of him in hospital with both legs in plaster and a shoulder, you have to think maybe he'll be wanting to look after those ankles. There wasn't a flicker, was there? He put his feet into the floor and made sure they stayed there. Very impressive.
Yeah, he's definitely a superb vaulter, but an all-rounder,
yeah.
You know, a real pedigree. Potentially one of the best all-rounders in this competition, so we'll definitely be going for that podium finish.
Well, you mentioned in parallel bars is his specialist piece, but getting ready to go is another gymnast who has an awful lot of experience behind him. We saw a moment ago the list of medals that he has to his name, Marcel Neun of Germany. He's now 31 years of age, but he was the all-around silver medalist at London 2012. So tucked in behind Kohai Uchimura there. He did have a nasty injury in 2014. They tore his ACL. But here he is in World Championship action again.
And another gymnast with real virtuosity on this piece of apparatus. Lovely pirouettes to start off. Super extension. Great height on the somersaults. Have to time the release off the bar, and he's also very good at the controlled work. Link those skills together most impressively. Good straight arms on all this handstand work, keeping the rhythm going. Is he going to treat us to the very big dismount? That was a lovely double tuck somersault, knees locked together. And just the double pike dismount, I say that because sometimes we've seen him finish with a full twisting back summy, which is very ambitious, but that was a good, solid routine from Neun.
This is his piece again, Craig, isn't it? He was the Olympic silver medalist on this apparatus in London, as well as doing well in the all-around competition.
Yeah, and great to see him back in competition, actually. I think it's been a real surge and drive for him to think about, you know, going to another Olympic Games 2020. He's gone back to all-around. It's a great constructed routine, that.
Oleg Fanayev, 14.966, a very good score on vault for him. Execution score up into the 9s.
Well, that's another 6/10 improvement for Fanayev, so he's 1.2 marks up already on his first two pieces of apparatus.
Yep, he's the early one to watch, isn't he? Samuel Michalak is now preparing. Just think about that Germany team, though. They lost Fabian Hambuchen, haven't they? They've still got a lot of experience there in Marcel Neun, so it's excellent that he is still on the scene and still performing at this level in the world finals.
It is, but it also goes to show that they obviously not got much depth behind with juniors having to get people, you know, at 31. You know, the same with Marian Dragulescu coming back from Romania, who's got injured. At 31, you get injured. You don't come back just as quick. And we have got, you know, a lot of depth within GB. So if we have injuries where some other countries just struggle a bit, but it is great to see somebody with his expertise, you know, and wealth of experience within this competition.
Yes, and interestingly, Germany haven't figured well in the team competition here this championships. But a great score, 14.1 for Neun. Good execution.
Puts him up provisionally into third, but we're only at the very start of this second rotation. And Michalak getting ready to go on pommels. This is another of the apparatus in which he's made the individual final. In fact, it's only rings and vault in which he won't feature in the individual apparatus final. But could this be the World Championships where he finally gets that major medal? Started strongly, solidly on floor. How's he going to get on here?
Well, this is one of his better pieces of apparatus. Original sheer single leg work with the hop along the pommel. It's got a really good double leg circle. That's the extension, keeping the rhythm. Flare into handstand, back down into flare, known as the Puznare. This is good work. Judges looking for separation in the legs on the flares, and in the double leg circle, they're looking for no leg separation at all. This is good work. The forward travel and backwards. That's the Shavado up into the handstand pirouette. Well, that was another solid routine. Maybe this might be the year for Michalak.
Yes, that was a much more impressive performance than in the team final. He looks solid and confident. He's an experienced gymnast now. Many of the USA gymnasts go through the collegiate program when he's through out the other side, and looking in great shape at the moment. Swinging here with beautiful rhythm. Clearing the handles easily. The wrists and the hands take so much pressure on this pommel horse, but lovely crisp pirouettes on that dismount.
Yeah, well done, Sam Michalak. The second time we've seen a broad smile on his face in the second rotation. Part of the USA team that managed fourth in the team final this time round, just the other day. He's very much a leader in that team. 26 years of age now. Let's see whether that will be a score that's good enough to propel him up the leaderboard. On to vault, Pablo Brega of Switzerland.
And the Swiss, a powerful nation at the moment. Very nicely wrapped in twist there, just slightly offline. You can see the lines on the mat. They give the judges an indication of whether it's down the centre or not. You can see he just keeps his foot inside that tram line. Lovely height, 14.2, big execution score, 9.4. That means he only lost 0.6 on the whole of that vault.
Yeah, interestingly, he did a vault with a higher start value in qualifying. So he's done a much easier vault to get that high execution score. Now, Michalak waiting to find out what he's scored on pommels.
Well, he had a 14.133 in qualification, which put him into the pommel horse final. But I think that looks slightly better.
14.3. There you go. He has bettered it. And it's enough to shoot him up into provisional second place with a host of gymnasts yet to come, including on the pommel horse. Here he is again, a man many are watching to see whether the 21-year-old Russian, who helped his team get a silver medal, can claim a world medal here, maybe even a gold.
Also qualified for the pommel horse final. Single leg work straight into the handstand. Nice and Son. 180 on one handle. A nice pace and rhythm about the routine. Circling on the one pommel with the turns. Just struggled a little bit there, bit of leg separation, but fought, stayed on. Nice travel there with the full turn. Forward travel, known as the Magyar, connected backwards, up into the handstand, no hesitation, full pirouette. Good, solid routine. A little bit of a deduction in the middle, but should score well.
Keeps his challenge alive. If you've allowed the little error like that to become a big error and fall off, then it all runs away. But he kept fighting. 6 pieces of apparatus. There'll be other little execution errors like that from everybody.
I've just seen a 14.3 from Mikulak. I don't think it will be good enough to go above that score.
For the very powerful gymnast, the pommels really, Craig, are quite a challenge, aren't they?
They are, because you see the pommel horse specialist generally quite slight in the frame. He's a well-built gymnast, very muscular, and thinking about getting your hands behind your back and to keep that momentum going is very difficult. He looks like he would be excellent on rings and not so good on the pommel horse.
It's no doubt the piece he's had to work and strive at if you want to be an all-round performer.
And actually, looking at the scores, apart from high bar, which he fell on qualification, it is his weakest piece of apparatus. But that's not bad if your weakest is a 14. I think he'll just be sigh of relief, get that out the way, and can concentrate on the other 4 pieces coming up.
Yeah, he's got rings next, then vault, parallel bars, and finishing on the high bars in this group. James Hall, you see some British action now. 13.6 for James Hall on pommels. So the ring's his second piece of apparatus.
And with his coach there, Units Chandabura, he's from the Pegasus Gymnastic Club, and of course his teammate Courtney Tulloch is a bit of an expert on the rings, not here at the championships. Very good strength work there from James. You've got to hold the body in a straight line. Lovely position, shoulders well down. Here comes the swinging section, the somersaults, and finishes it into a great planche position. Has to keep the rings completely still, lock out in a straight-armed handstand, and then swing to that position again, which he does with ease. Lovely control. Can he make a lovely dismount as well? He swings backwards to handstand, up into the double twist, double back. That's great rings work from James.
Yeah, another solid performance. You can see a big dismount. The Iceman. Sounds like an extra from Top Gun, but he certainly is one cool cookie. And yeah, 2 pieces down. That was good.
His experience at the European Championships doing the all-around final then certainly stand him in good stead. Came away with the bronze medal in that competition in 2017. So he has been on this sort of stage. Yes, Euros, not Worlds, but still the pressure of a final, of going around all the pieces with fellow competitors.
Well, both the British guys have potential to score between 84 and 85. That's what they've been doing in preparation for this. 84, 85 puts them about 4th place. So, yeah, come on, James and Bryn.
Well, this will be interesting on the pommel horse. Arthur Delaline, who had a rather low score in qualifying on this piece of apparatus. So this is one where he can make up a lot of ground.
Certainly can. And no problem to start into the handstand. Circling on one handle. Up into the handstand flare. back down into the flares. That's a difficult skill, and the gymnasts have to keep the momentum going, which he did. Any pause in routine or strength, the judges will deduct for that. But it's going well so far. Forward travel, into the backward travel. Circles up into the handstand, full pirouette. Well, much better than qualification. And I think that was the best pommel routine out of the two Russians so far.
Well, it was exciting, it was fast, and we looked up his form to see what he can score on pommel, and he really hasn't been used by the Russian team very much on pommel at all. So it's obviously not a favourite piece for him, but he really made it look good here.
He's really making a bid for it, isn't he? He was in the silver medal position after the first rotation. 7th for the moment, 13.4. So again, not one of the best pommel routines.
Well, they put that up as Dalalian and then showed it over Nagorny. They won't have Dalalian's score in yet.
No.
I would think that was Nagorny's score.
Because he had that bit where he separated his legs, looked like he was going to come off. So that's probably about right. As I said, not up to make you like.
And here is Dalalian. 13.4.
Down on difficulty, 5-5, which would be why the team haven't used him massively. But good execution.
Back to the parallel bars to move through this piece of this rotation. From Turkey, then we have Ferhat Arakan. He's 25 years of age, has an awful lot of experience in numerous world and European champions, 7 world championships in total for him. Hasn't had much success, but he's an experienced campaigner.
Well, very much one of the leaders of the African continent. Beautiful work on that one rail. Very confident there. Lovely control in the handstand, swinging turn. Gymnasts have to try and hold still, not shuffle, and he does just that. Lovely control. Very nicely through the pirouetting section. Double front somersault with half turn. Good dismount. It didn't have the huge releases we've seen from some gymnasts, but it was very good, clean work.
I think this is his best piece of apparatus. He wasn't actually far off making the individual final in the parallel bars when he went through qualification.
Yeah, qualified 11th, so it's the top 8, so like you say, just missed out there, Ali. But that's a big skill, the front up rise into the Damodarsov. And then that is a very difficult skill, the under somersault to handstand on one bar. He's got some big skills in there, but just looks the odd 10th or 2. But this has become a really popular gymnast dismount on the parallel bars. The double front with the half turn. Gymnast can almost spot the floor and the landing. But he seems happy with that and enjoying his world all-around final.
Good to see. James Hall then on rings, 14.066 for him. Hasn't quite matched his qualifying score. But for James Hall, well, plenty of room to try and climb this leaderboard yet. Yul Moldau of the USA on vault.
Very exciting and stylish gymnast. Lovely 2.5 twist, a massive vault. You see how far away he was from the platform when he landed. Lovely style, those legs locked together on the centre line. You can see the judge there sat at the end who will judge whether they are in line or not.
14.4, so a very good execution score. 12th place on vault. And 12th place overall after the vault, I should say. How to keep yourself warm as you go around all these apparatus. Keep yourself focused, it's such a long competition. 14.6 then on parallel bars. It's a decent score for the 25-year-old from Turkey. So still working through our gymnasts on this second rotation of 6. And our first look here in this all-around final of Bryn Bevan, who is the reigning British all-around champion, and competing here in his first World all-around final. So this is the second piece of apparatus after he came a cropper on the pommel horse. See that focus in his eyes, Craig.
Remember those days well. It's really got to try and settle yourself, but also just keep that concentration. Normally start off with a couple of big moves, just settle in. Behind him there, national coach Barry Colley.
14.766.
Sometimes a bit of an agonising wait.
And we've got to wait till you give him the go. It's like a stop sign, isn't it, on the scoreboard?
Absolutely. There has been gymnasts that have gone before the green light. Certainly on Bolton got a no score, and that's them out the competition pretty much. So come on, Bryn. Straight into the backup rise to Maltese. Double pike. That's good. Swing to strength. Double pike, known as the Jonasson. Into the straddle top planche. It's got a really nice shape in the handstand. We'll look for a flat back. In the double tuck. Straight into the forward long swing. Winds up for the dismount, double twisting, double bite. A little pace on the landing, but a good performance nevertheless.
Should settle a few nerves.
Yes, good performance there from Bryn Bevan. Bryn, of course, from South Essex Gymnastic Club, coached by Scott Hann. Looks relieved and happy to have got through that routine.
It's not the most difficult ring routine that we'll see, and it's something that you can tell he's working on. His physique's getting stronger all the time. But what he's really good at is his execution. There's not a lot to take off.
And remember that he came into this competition as a substitute because Niall Wilson was injured. He wasn't part of the original British team. And then qualified in 11th place for this all-around world final.
And he swings beautifully on the rings. Really quite complete gymnast, Bryn. He's very stylish, powerful.
Nikita Nagorny on the pommel horse, 13.566, dropping down the leaderboard in terms of the overall standings. So we'll have a look now. Bryn Bevan was the final gymnast to go on rings, and we'll get a look soon at exactly how that leaderboard is shaping up.
There has been an inquiry submitted for Kenzo Shirai.
Hearing an inquiry for Kenzo Shirai on his second piece of apparatus, which was the pommel horse. He was leading the way after the first rotation. So it might take some while, I suppose, if they want to wait till that score and that inquiry is completed before we see the final standings. Bryn Bevan, 13.666 on rings. A little bit of an improvement, Craig.
Certainly was. 13.6 in qualification, so those little bits add up to a lot over 6 pieces of apparatus. So well done, Bryn.
Yes, and of course the judges judge and the score goes in, but there is a jury of appeal. So you are able to appeal, and the jury look at the routine and see. You can only actually protest your difficulty score. You can't protest your execution score. So they then look at the difficulty and see whether they agree with the judge's evaluation of the difficulty they've given. Sometimes it depends whether a move's been fully completed or whether the 2 moves have been linked smoothly. But yeah, that's what it'll be on Shirai, something of that nature, won't it, Craig?
Absolutely, and it's very difficult for us to guess what it's about, having not seen the routine. Sometimes it's quite easy to spot.
Kenzo Shirai on floor, his score was 14.9. So this is where things stand moving on to the third rotation, in terms of those gymnasts who will be moving onto the rings, that leading group. But I will tell you that at the moment, top of the leaderboard, whilst we await the outcome of Kenzo Shirai's inquiry, but Andre Muntean of Romania is top. He's completed vault already, had a big parallel bars routine. So he, at the moment, has leapfrogged to the top, but whether Kenzo Shirai will maintain his place at the top, or indeed amongst the medals, we'll wait to see, depending on the outcome of this inquiry. But Oleg Vanayev is tucked in behind Muntean at the moment, so he is climbing after that second rotation, and Zhao Ruteng, the reigning world all-around champion, currently sits in the bronze medal position, but that all-important score is Kenzo Shirai's. And I imagine this waiting for these scores in the standings probably doesn't help the gymnasts either as they move round to the next rotation and want to be able to get on with things. But is that just part and parcel of gymnastics? You get used to delays.
Yes, and they are already warming up on the next piece of apparatus, and they don't really get involved in any protests or whatever. It will be the coaches, and it actually has to be lodged by an official. So they just get on and do their next apparatus. They won't be too heavily involved, and we might not get the revised score or the decision until after the next apparatus has started. Just administratively, it takes a bit of time sometimes.
Of course it does, and like you say, it's not like a gymnast waiting to perform, because then that's a bit unfair on the gymnast wanting to go up on that apparatus. But they've had 3.5 minutes. The judges will be working frantically to look at that. I mean, that's a great start for Muntean of Romania, but I very much doubt he'll stay in first position for much longer. So it's always good to get your camera out and get a picture of yourself leading the competition.
So it doesn't matter so much if they start the next rotation before the score is revised, if it is to be revised now. But if this was really at the nub end of the competition, then it really would matter.
And also, there is a cost to this. You know, each federation will pay a fee as well, and it goes up every time you go. So, yeah, it can cost you a lot of money if you don't get it right.
Keep challenging the judges.
Yeah, it's not something you just do on a whim. You have to be pretty sure of each gymnast will go in expecting a certain D score, and if that hasn't been credited and the coaches and the powers that be think it definitely should have been, then they will protest. But I would expect the jury would have made a decision. It just sometimes takes a bit of time to go into the scoreboard and all the rest of it. So we've got a couple of waiting scores you can see up the back there.
Well, the leading group then onto the rings, which we'll see in a moment. But Samuel Mikulak has been impressive, hasn't he, so far? And Nikita Nagorny, well, he was right up in amongst the medals to start with. And the rings actually is only one of the
Well, to be honest,
finals he's in. There's no other gymnasts in that top group who are in the rings finals. This could be a real chance for him.
To be honest, they've all so far done a good job. We haven't seen anybody fall by the wayside, and of course Vernayev, who goes to parallel bars, is lying happily in second.
Well, parallel bars. And Lucas Dauser of Germany. Going to see here.
Starts well, under somersault with a half turn into under somersault. Gymnasts have to show a variety of moves. That's one, upper arm support to above the bars. I was just about to say that shows great control. The Makuts, as he put his hand down, does not get full contact. And again, struggles with the Healy turn. Extra swing, so that's a deduction. Diamondov, swinging half turn. It's just couldn't set the tempo of the routine. Double front with the half turn. What a shame, because that had the potential of a good routine.
Yes, he's a good P-bar worker, but it just shows you any slight loss of concentration and the mistake is made. And it's always difficult to get the rhythm back when that's happened. Oh, you can see just buckled at the elbow.
And took a silver medal at the European Championships in parallel bars last year in 2017. So I'm sure he would have looked at this apparatus and thought, this will be my one to put in a good performance. The cameras might be on me. Well, they were. The vault. This is where gymnasts will look and think, yep, chance to boost my score. And Kazuma Kaya of Japan.
And a 5-2 difficulty, so he needs a great execution. He does have the 2.5 twist off the top, quite a favoured vault from many of these gymnasts. They turn onto the platform. You can see here the turn onto the platform. Blocks with that second arm, wraps in. Lovely 2.5 twist. Maximum this can score is 15.2. You could see the legs apart on the flight on. The judges start judging from the board. They actually don't judge the run, but they judge the flight on, the flight off, and the shape in the air. But it's a lovely, lengthy vault.
All right, on that central landing strip, 14.366. Execution strong for Kazuma Kaya. Rings then. So this is where the top qualifiers sit. And Nikita Ngorny continues his campaign here.
I'll be disappointed with a drop in his pommel score, so I want to claim a few tenths back, but that's solid. Just pressing there into the Maltese position. Look how flat the body is, shoulders level with the rings, and again, you can see the strain on the gymnast's faces in these strength elements. And swing as well. Double pie, double tuck, into the front somersault, into the crucifix. Swing to strength element, one of the requirements. Got a nice straight line, hands to feet. Can control the rings well. That's what the judges are looking for. Double twisting, double bite, nails the landing. Now Ngorny certainly put the pommel to rest. Lays down a fantastic ring routine.
Yeah, much more his piece.
12.433, Lucas Dauser on the parallel bars. I think with the error, he knows he could have done much better than that. But it's the pressure that comes with the world final.
Well, every gymnast here will have their own target, wanting to be in the top 20, top 10. They'll have their scores they want to achieve. So even though it won't affect the medals, it'll be a big disappointment for him.
Well, we're back with the parallel bars for Pablo Breger of Switzerland, the 25-year-old.
Quite an unusual mount, and parallel bars usually a very good apparatus for the Swiss team. Oh, but he caught his leg as he cut. That was better, but he's really resting on his arms with his legs. It should be smooth and fast. Tiny bit short of handstand. It's a little bit edgy today. But that was a good front somersault, a little bit of a stall moving up onto the handstand position. And a couple of placement of the hands to bring it under control. That was better, fixed the back. Oh, and it really just ran completely out of steam by the dismount. Didn't get the feet right up and didn't get the height off the bar to make the two somersaults. Really didn't look settled, Craig, there.
No, it didn't. From the start of the routine, if you just catch your leg on the apparatus, fall on the apparatus, it can really unnerve you.
Ngorny, 14.5 for his rings. Hasn't managed to get up into the nines for his execution. We'll see how the other gymnasts do in terms of that leaderboard. To the rings then. And again, the man defending his title, Zhao Ruteng. How strong will this piece of apparatus be for him?
Well, in qualification, it's his lowest scoring piece of apparatus. So he'll have to perform it to the best. That's good. Back up rise to the top planche, lowest to the Maltese, but for me the shoulders were a little bit high. That was better in the crucifix. Swings well. The double front, back up rise to the Maltese. Double pike, back up rise to crucifix.
Competing next on parallel bars from Switzerland, Pablo Blanca.
Swing to handstand, one of the requirements. Gymnasts have 4 requirements within the routines. Double twisting, double back, solid on the landing, but for me, there were areas in that routine within the strength elements, shoulders high, where the judges, if they want, can take deductions, but super finish.
Yeah, because he's a slight gymnast. You would expect the strength things to be really quite solid.
Yep, 14.333. He is up in that first position, but he's in such stark physical contrast to Nikita Nagorny when we see him and how the physicality he has through his shoulders. James Hall then, chance to see how he goes on vault. He's had a couple of solid scores so far.
Really the piece you need to focus and bring all your power explosively to bear. Does that really well, just a little pace, but it was a great high flighty vault. Very nice technique. The shoulders need such power to block off the top. You can see the push through that second hand, fixes the head beautifully, knows just where he is in the air. Legs cleanly together, 2.5 twists. It's quite a sort of blind landing.
He's keeping up to his name of being ice cool so far. 14.366, good execution score. And James Hall for the moment, yep, I think he's pleased with that. He's heading in the right direction. Pablo Brega, though, not heading in the right direction with 12 for that parallel bars routine. Yep, can't afford to make the errors.
And really the all-around is about consistency throughout all the apparatus.
Sun Wei is aiming to keep his consistency going. He's the penultimate gymnast of this leading group to go on the rings for China.
Uprise to the straight top planche. That's a better position than his teammate. Circle round into the crucifix.
Performing next on high bar, representing Turkey,
Slight gymnast, the Chinese, in the physique, but they can swing the apparatus very well. Layout, double pike, into the Homma to crucifix. Stretch the handstand. So just a little bit of an arch in his back there, if you want to be picky. And just under rotates that dismount, double twisting, double back. That big step forward will be costly. He only had a 13.933 in qualification. You can tell it's not his favoured piece of apparatus.
I was just thinking, though, that there was a lot of very nice work, very controlled work. Beautiful style, look at that, legs, toes, everything locked. And then a dismount with really at least a half a mark deduction attached to it. He'll be disappointed with that. The big dismount, the double twisting, double back. But I think that with the chest down, the big step, shake of his head, he thinks so too.
And rings traditionally has been such a strength for China, hasn't it? You think of Chen Yi being in the multiple world titles that he won, Olympic titles as well. It doesn't always follow that the next generation of gymnasts excel at the same apparatus as the last.
Well, it used to be a dynasty of Italian gymnasts, the likes of Yuri Keki, if you go back in time, but no Italians around in this final.
We're sticking with the parallel bars. We've seen a couple of gymnasts make costly errors on this piece. Oliver Hagi from Switzerland follows on from his teammate Pablo Brega.
And that was a nice opening forward somersault. Just swaying about a little bit, but good energy to this routine. Good high somersault, he got the legs out behind him, cleared the bars. And that was nice as well, good height above the parallel bars. Clean on the swinging turn, control on the work on one rail. And there's the double front with half turn. That was a good, efficient routine there from Switzerland.
Much better performance from Switzerland. And I think over the past sort of 5 years, it's parallel bars and high bar have been significant improvement for the Swiss gymnasts.
Sun Wei, 13.9 for his rings performance, and he's lying in 6th position in the overall standings so far. Oliver Hagee is living up to his name as the bronze medalist at the European Championships most recently. Right, rings again. And here is Arta Dalalayan. He's up there in terms of the medals. He is pushing and competing.
Quay can go above 14 on this piece of apparatus. That's a good solid start. Just eases round into that Maltese position, and again into the crucifix. Just look at the muscle definition, the force in his shoulders to hold his body. They're good swinging elements. Plenty of height above the rings, showing virtuosity. What I mean by that is the way that they perform the skill. Fixes there into the backup rise to straddle top flange. For me, they're just holding these strength elements a little bit longer, and that's what they want to see. Good shape in the back, in the forward long swing. Full twist in double straight, sticks the landing. That was a cracking rings performance.
And we said earlier, didn't we, if he could surmount the problems on pommel horse, and he certainly did. He was in with a shout.
14.666 then for Oliver Hagee, the European bronze medalist, his parallel bars routine. On the rings, Craig, what's the optimum time that judges are looking for a gymnast to hold the shape, to register the value?
At least 2 seconds.
Well, here's parallel bars again, and Yulmul Dower of the USA.
Another beautifully slight gymnast made for the sport, and that was a super high front somersault, really stalled the feet upwards. Very nice on the full turn, the swinging turn, and again, the good long swing elements, he's using them very happily. But shows lovely control in the handstand position as well. Strong routine, this. Just needs a good strong dismount. Here it comes, double front half out, and he made that. That was good work for USA.
They seem to be performing well, both gymnasts. We've not seen Mikulak perform in this round yet. I've just had a look. There you can see this was, like you say, Christine, super height on that straddle front somersault. Gymnasts need to get the legs out of the way of the bars, because if they catch the apparatus, then there is a deduction, and that's a difficult skill. The long swing into the full turn, the Diamondov, and then yet again a really favoured dismount by these gymnasts, the double front somersault with half turn to finish.
Each move is given a value, isn't it? And that's worth a lot.
Arta Dalalayan then, 14.533. It's enough to push him up to 5th position so far in the standings after 2 pieces of apparatus. Still waiting for a couple more scores to come in, though. I can give you Bryn Bevan's score on vault. He rolled out on landing, so 5.6 difficulty, 7.933 execution, giving him an overall score of 13.533. 14.5, and Yulmul Dower is up to 7th in the overall standings. And we'll be heading towards now the 4th piece of apparatus. very shortly. But we'll bring you confirmation of where things stand at the halfway stage. I would imagine things have changed around a little bit at the top of the leaderboard, and we're waiting the outcome of Kenzo Shirai's score as well. But before any of that, we've got Oleg Vernayev on parallel bars. He is the king, the reigning Olympic champion and former world champion on this piece of apparatus. He'll have been looking forward to this one and hope he can put in a good performance.
He is a real master on this piece of apparatus. In the somersault with half turn. And again to one rail. Connects the Healy turn. 3 huge skills at the start of the routine. And showing again. Jammered off Healy turn out. That's known as the McCuts. The height there in the tip out. And he goes again. Watch this. Through that, into the long swing, the Babsar. Another Healy turn for good measure. This is looking superb. Come on, Oleg. Needs a big dismount. It's like his fault. The double front half turn. Well, talk about rising to the occasion. 3 out of 3 routines for Vernayev.
Oh, fantastic to see. You know, we watched him as a young gymnast. He always looked to have such potential, and always he would make mistakes, wouldn't he? And then in the end of the sort of 2016 at the Olympics, he'd finally managed to conquer his nerves and done loads of competitions and performed really well. Then had to have time out with the injury, and it's absolutely great to see him back working so well. Look at the height and flight on that element. Well, Olympic champion on this apparatus, but we've seen some massive scores on parallel bars already. During the team final, we had the first 16 of the championships. Will he be able to match it?
That's one of the best we've seen so far. He qualified in 2nd place. He can go mid-15s, and we've seen him score a 16 on this piece of apparatus. That was pretty clean.
And that is pretty good as well. 15.666. It's propelled him to the top of the leaderboard. What a performance, a champion's performance from the world champion, from the Olympic champion on that apparatus. But dismount in particular, huge. Wobbly fought, but he held it.
I think what stands out about this routine is the way it connects skills to get the difficulty. It's so big, all the stuff from one bar and connecting them to another skill. They're big skills, big value, and it's 10 moves. So the easier you can get 10 moves done and get off, the least chance of deduction. Like we see, Christine, with the women on bars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, 10 moves, pack in the difficulty, don't do too many extra, because for every move you do, the judges will deduct a little bit from you.
And here is the order at the halfway stage. Oleg Vernayev of the Ukraine, the 25-year-old in the gold medal position. The defending champion Zhao Ruteng has silver medal position so far. Samuel Mikulak, the bronze. James Hall there in 10th position so far. He's put in solid performances as he works his way around these 6 pieces of apparatus. Kenzo Shirai, you can see, is down at 15th at the moment. Still waiting for formal word on his pommel horse routine. Bryn Bevan, 22nd place so far after he rolled out of his landing on vault.
Well, it's shaping up really beautifully now, and what a routine from Oleg Vernayev on the parallel bars, as you might expect, being the reigning Olympic champion on that piece. But Beth Tweddle, we were just oozing appreciation for that routine, particularly the dismount, as Alison was saying, but 1 or 2 elements in there just floating around that piece.
Yeah, he has got his own class on this piece of apparatus. The lines, as you're watching it, there you can see the handstands right up there, toes pointed, does the half turn and holds it. But he's just, for the fact that he's had such a long time off as well, so obviously this is using a lot of shoulder strength. So he's obviously been able to produce the numbers to be able to produce a routine like this. But there, the height to be able to get up to that skill. And then yet again, you'll see on this element, beautiful height, gives himself plenty of time to straddle his legs through.
And he only really came back in September after these multiple operations you were talking about. But, you know, when you look back through his record, he's been a double European all-around champion. He was second at the Olympics in Rio in the all-around, but he's never yet won a medal in this competition, the World Championship.
No,
That's very surprising.
Unfortunately, we have seen him. You can just see there as he's coming off, he is protecting that shoulder a bit. But we've built him up in the past in the all-around, and he keeps, I don't know, taking a step out the floor or rolls out of his dismount. So it has always just pulled him out of the medals. But he's maybe gone in to today's competition with a bit less pressure on him.
Well, the top group are moving on now. Back live now to the Aspire Dome in Doha.
We have got 2 more pieces of apparatus, 3 more pieces of apparatus to come, 2 more after this rotation. We're starting with the parallel bars then, and let's see how the competition is going to continue from here. Remember, Oleg Vernayev leading the way for Ukraine, but it's parallel bars.
As we can see, Turkey on the parallel bars. Right, there in the straddle front somersault above the bars. Oh, just loses control a little bit there on the studs to 1 bar. He's got to compose himself for the dismount. Double front with half turn. Solid landing, but that little wobble in the middle will be very costly.
So Ahmet Onda 14.666. That was the last piece of apparatus we were seeing then on the parallel bars. And that's actually taken him up to 5th place in the overall standings. Now Nagorny, well, he was sitting in 4th place at the halfway stage now. So with that leading group moving on to vaults, and this is where we could start to see some of those key contenders stretch ahead of the rest of the pack by putting in some big scores here. And he had a huge vault in the team final. So looking forward to watching this one.
He did, Nagorny, but all huge vaults have a huge risk. So you can see the pressure and concentration on his face, a 5.6 difficulty score. He really builds his power down the runway, lifts up high, double front with half turn, just a little hop back, but beautiful flight, beautiful height, very crisp on the half turn out. That was a good vault.
Big vault, same as what we've seen from Vernayev, even though it was a little bit higher than Vernayev's, I think. Those deductions on the landing, and like you say, the gymnast can get deducted if they open the legs too much. This helps increase rotation. The cowboy, double front half turn, stratospheric from the top of the vaulting platform. You can see the push in his shoulders. Actually 2.5 somersault, 2/10 for the hops and dismount there. So that will be a 1, and then that little shuffle 2. But good, powerful vaulting.
Fine work for Nagorny, starting this 4th rotation of 6, 14.766. Yeah, good score. He looks a little bit disappointed though.
Well, if you think Vernayev got 14.9, if he'd have stuck it, it'd have been about the same.
So much in the execution and such small margins which separate gymnasts. Here is the man that they were all chasing. He owns the title at the moment. Who's going to take it off him? Zhao Ruteng, China.
Quite slight, fast moving, and that a really very difficult vault. 5.6 its difficulty. It was a triple twist off the top. He turns on to the platform, snaps off the top and adds in 3 twists. Not many gymnasts in the world doing that.
Certainly not. This is a very, very difficult vault. 15.6 maximum score. And actually one of the few gymnasts, you look there on the replay, that can keep his legs and feet together from the springboard. So gymnasts might pick up 1, 2, 3 tenths on the way onto the vault. And he had a great, I mean, he qualified in 1st place on vault, 14.933 in qualification. So that should score very well.
Yep, he'll have a moment or 2 to wait for his score and see how that will affect the leaderboard. He was in the silver medal position. So Ahmet Onda, again for Turkey now. He's moved Forward to high bar. She fell in qualification here, so he'll want to make up for that. Show what he can do on this piece of apparatus.
Next on high bar, from Turkey, Ahmet Önder.
Nice height in the first release over the bar. Straight catch, Ev. That's a good catch. And again with the half turn. No problems at all. This gymnast, very stylish gymnast. Fingertips there in the straddle catch, Ev. And again with the half turn. So the gymnast favouring the catch-evs. We've had 4. That's his in-bar work, the squat disc low with the full turn, and that was a little bit late, so this is where the gymnasts tend to lose most of the marks, is on the turn elements that are passing through handstand. Double twisting, double straight, good, solid routine. So probably a bit of a deduction on that in-bar work.
But very good releases. He really caught everything at full stretch, didn't he? Very precise.
Bit of a wait for Kaya Kazuma before he's able to, sorry, Kenzo Shirai before he's able to go forward onto the runway. And slip right down the leaderboard, 15th at the halfway stage. So he's got a lot of ground to make up, but this is a great piece for him.
And this will be a twisting vault, you can be sure. Flip on, triple twist. Now that was very clean and beautifully performed. You have to block and get such a lot of height in order to wrap in 3 twists. That was huge.
Certainly was. This is the vault that we've seen in training where he could do a 3.5 twist. But there, no problems in the air, legs locked together. A super look here, round off on blocks with straight arms, triple twist, right down the middle. That'll go into the 9s for execution. We expect a big score.
Super landing from Kenzo Shirai. We haven't yet had a 15 on the vault yet in this individual final. And Ruteng doesn't quite make it into the 15s either, 14.866. Not quite as strong a score as Oleg Fanayev has managed. Those are the two going head-to-head at the top of the leaderboard. Oh, there's our first 15, 15.166 and 9.566 on the execution. Yep, he's a pleased man.
And floor and vault are Shirai's specialism, really. They're the pieces he would expect to make up his ground on everyone else.
Sticking with vault, and Sun Wei of China is next.
One great performance after another.
Quite a different physique, quite a stocky build, and a really powerful run. And that, another triple twist. It was a good vault, but a hop to the side and almost hopped out of bounds.
I think you did very well, actually, to control that landing, Christine. You look, didn't just have the same pop off the top, what we've seen for the other triples. And the good thing is you get a real comparison. You know, we wait ages for a triple twist, and then they all come along at once. There you can see his shoulders are down a little bit, hopped over the line with 1 foot, I think. So that's a 0.1. But in the air, you know, as ever, the Chinese gymnasts are really good, efficient twisters. But you can see his shoulders were still twisting as he hit the landing pad.
In fact, it was sort of a 2 7/8, wasn't it? With his physique, I was a bit surprised he didn't do a multiple somersault, double front half, that sort of thing, because the longer lines are usually more suited to the twisting.
13.166, Ahmet on the, just noticing actually his performance in the World Championships in 2017. He was a top 10 finisher in the world all-around. Sun Wei, oh, and he was penalised indeed for that vault, 14.533. Sitting in 4th position just outside the medals.
Interesting.
With more gymnasts yet to come.
I was going to say, I looked in qualification, he got a 0.1 deduction in qualification, so maybe that's just a common trait.
Yeah, he twists a little bit off the vertical, doesn't he? A little bit of a tilt.
Here's another man who is in the chasing pack, and Arthur Dowlion, European champion on vault.
Well, if he wants to be catching, he needs to show every bit of the wonderful form he's got here. Double pike front, wow, what a landing. That is such a great vault, and he stamped out the landing. There was nothing about that was can I or can't I. He smacked those feet into the floor. Really emphatic vaulting there.
Wow, that is such a difficult vault to do. Only a few people in the world can do this. You need to create so much drive and power. And you often see gymnasts doing this start bending because they're running out of rotation. But look at that. And spots the floor. I mean, they're going 1 for 1 on this vault.
It's such a textbook landing, isn't it? Like, as a coach, you would say to your gymnast, bring your arms forward, steady your landing. And it's almost like it's out the textbook manual.
I don't think I've ever seen a gymnast run with such determination down a runway. 15.133. Well, he's challenging Kenzai Shirai at the top of the vault standings, that's for sure. Tremendous. We're being really treated to fantastic rotation here with these top gymnasts on the vault.
Oh, this puts the pressure on Mikulak. And you can see his difficulty is 5.2 rather than 5.6. So, on the vault for USA, Sam Mikulak. Wraps in, oh, another good landing. Sukahara, 2.5 twists. This has turned out to be one heck of a rotation on the vault. We often see a few falls, but everybody's nailing the landings. Whether they put super glue on there, I don't know, but it's certainly working.
Very impressive, isn't it? And you know, this platform, it's been in for 10 years or so now. They've really found out how to use the platform, these guys. It's sprung, you can really hit it and power off it, and we're seeing a fantastic display of vaulting here and a fantastic display of landing.
Well, Sam Mikulak was in the bronze medal position at the halfway stage. He is on song in this World All-Around final, pulling out all the stops.
Well, execution, that'd be difficult to take off. He got into the 9s with execution in qualification. And I think that will get up there as well.
Oh, yeah, 9.4 and a 14.6 for Mikulak. He sits just outside the medals for the moment, though. That's off the back of some very strong vaults from his fellow competitors. Well, we wait for Oleg Fanayev. I'll fill you on James Hall's parallel bars routine, a 14.5. 6 difficulty, 8.5 execution, very strong from James Hall. At the moment, he sits inside the top 10 in the standings. But here is a big name, the man leading the way, and Fanayev on the high bar.
Well, this is a piece of apparatus in the past that's caused a few problems, but no difficulty there. Markelov with a half turn at the start, and again. Strelokatchev. It's not packed with difficulty, this routine, and I think he'll agree to that. But what he does do is he performs it very well. That's good. Squat with the full turn. Looks like he came down the wrong way though. And again, squat half, a little bit late. Goes to separation, and late on the hop full. This is it, in-bar work known as the end-up with the half turn. Winds up into the dismount, double twisting, double straight. Oh, well, what a shame. He had few errors in that routine, but a fall at the dismount. Yet again comes to grief on the high bar, Christine.
Yes, it's not been his most favoured piece. And of course, he probably hasn't put the number of dismounts in that he would want to have done. You know, coming back from injury, that's always the problem. And he paid the price, but that was a great shame because he's been looking fantastic. Really caught that at full stretch. All these releases have to not be interrupted, but he ran out a little bit of steam in this routine. And stamina, when you've had time out, is usually the problem. You can get the moves back, but the stamina, and even like he did a couple of stalders and things at the end. And this, he just released a bit early. I thought he was only going to do a single twist, and then wrapped very late that last twist in. Not enough time in the air.
And he's such a tremendous supported gymnast within the gymnastic community. You could see the disappointment of the audience.
And the pain in that right shoulder as well, by the look of it. I don't think that's just disappointment in the landing. He did seem to wince a little bit as he was walking off the podium. 11.5, what a disappointment. He was in the gold medal position. Ukraine have never had a world all-around champion. He was able to sit in that lofty position for a couple of pieces of apparatus only. And then errors so costly. So Kazuma Kaya then, parallel bars.
Fluent start in the front somersault. Zips on top of the bars and that under somersault. So the gymnast have pads on his arms, it's allowed. You can see high there in the straddle front somersault. So it just adds a bit of protection. And you can see plenty of flight on that element, the Bavzar. And then again into support, it's called a Tipelt. To one bar. Up start, lift a handstand. Going well so far. Can he finish well? Again, double front half turn. Another solid performance from the Japanese. Parallel bar's a real strong piece of apparatus.
It is, isn't it? It's a piece where we've seen a lot of very good work. And this gymnast looks quite a complete gymnast.
Oh, it puts him up into 5th position, 14.766. He's in the hunt as well. But the real story of this round, this rotation, is the fall of Oleg Vanayev from top spot in the leaderboard. Oliver Hagi, though, takes to the high bar for Switzerland.
And a great high bar worker. Look at the height there and the confidence to catch one hand, then the other, and make the turn. Beautiful. Def there. The Ginger with the extra full turn. Really nicely performed, cleanly out of it. Building now into another big release, the full twist in Kovacs. The forward elements as well as the backward elements, you have to show both. Nice big hop over the bar, the Markelov. This is lovely, strong work here from Hegi. You can see the change of swing. It's just a gentle swing when he's going to hop. Now he's going to dismount, changes the swing completely. Single twist in the double straight. Quiet dismount, but a very impressive routine.
You can see why he's the reigning European champion, Craig.
You just took the words right out of my mouth there. What I love about that routine, it's got real variety.
So 14.133 for Hagi. 12th position in this men's all-around final at the World Championships.
And high bars, the apparatus, it's difficult to get a big high score on. The judges are very eagle-eyed.
Yeah. Not so much on the releases, but it's all the stuff that turns in towards handstand. You know, if they go a little bit late, past the handstand line, 3/10s, you know, could even be 5 if they're really bad.
News of Bryn Bevan on the parallel bars. Put in a very good performance, lots of character, 14.6 for Bryn Bevan on the parallel bars. We'll be able to see shortly where that leaves him in the overall standings. A difficult start to his all-around final, propping up the table after the first rotation. James Hall, as I mentioned, did get himself up into the top 10. Is he still in the top 10 with the way the scores are shaping up? We're going to get a look at his parallel bars routine.
stronger piece of apparatus for James. Good lockout. Nice there, the back somersault half turn, known as the Suarez. And again from the front uprise.
Score for Kenzo Shirai, 15.166.
Beautiful line with his gymnastics. You can see there, hands to feet, stretch, pointed toes. This is nice. Plenty of height. The straddle front somersault. That's certainly a skill that can break the fingers if you don't catch it well. So businesslike, big dismount, double front half turn. Another solid performance from the Iceman.
Really good stuff from James. He's increasing difficulty in his routines all the time, but also become a really stylish performer.
And a 14.5, he'll be very pleased with that. And that put him up into 7th position. He's a cool customer. Arta Daviatan, the final gymnast in his group on floor.
And a massive run across the floor. Straight front, immediate double front. And another big forward tumble, and he just squeezes in that double twist and lands. These floors, of course, have springs underneath them. And if you hit it right, you can really get some power out of it. And these gymnasts are showing us a wonderful display of different tumbling. Good twisting there. Everything has to, of course, remain in the 12-meter square. So you have to be able to build power through technique rather than just a mad, fast run. Yeah, good round off, lifts into a double twist, meets the floor so well. They spot the floor, these gymnasts, bend their knees to absorb the height, rotation. Here we go. Triple this time, and another superb landing. Very clean work there.
Well, it was the last to go on floor after Daviatan. He held bronze after the first rotation, but as we've seen, some of that leading group vault their way into those medal positions. He's now got a bit of a battle on his hands.
He certainly has, but certainly uses all the floor, the big tumbles. That was the one where he struggled on the full twist into the straight front with double twist. That was nice. A half in, half out. 2 somersaults, 1 full turn. And then triple twist. No problem whatsoever on the finish. Still got his leotard on from 2016. Good score, 13.7 for Arta Daviatan of Armenia.
Yeah, there's only been a couple of 14s from those leading gymnasts in this all-around final so far. That leaderboard will be where everyone's eyes are starting to turn to in the Aspire Dome Arena. We've had 4 pieces of apparatus out of 6 in this men's all-around final. A real blue ribbon event at the World Championships. The gymnast who wins here is the dominant individual. They're rocking in the stands. Good support for Switzerland and Brazil there as well. But it was Oleg Vanayev in the gold medal position at the halfway stage, but with 2 pieces of apparatus to go, it is the current champion, Xiao Ruteng, who's looking to successfully defend his title. He's in top spot. Dalalayan in second and Nagorny in third. They've vaulted their way up the leaderboard. James Hall is up to 7th. Tremendous parallel bars routine for him. And Oleg Vanayev, I think so many people felt for him when he missed his landing from high bar, has dropped down to 9th. And we'll find out shortly where Bryn Bevan sits. He's 20th now and put in a solid performance as well in that 4th rotation.
Yes, parallel bars and then high bar for the leading contenders. That looks like where it's all going to be sorted out in the next half an hour or so. Less than half a mark between the top four, though. It's anyone's gold, Beth Tweddle.
It really is, and we did think it was going to be battled out right to the last piece. I mean, 0.5 is nothing. It can be literally the step. So, yeah, it's going to be a great race to the end.
Well, Simone Biles looking on there, waiting for her moment, perhaps tomorrow in the women's individual all-around. But lots to cheer from a British perspective as well, not least from Bryn Bevan, his parallel bars routine. Now, he's moved up to 20th after this performance, and it was a very competent performance indeed, and it scored 14.6 today.
Yeah, he's done really well, because obviously he had a bit of a tough start on the pommels, then composed himself for rings, and then unfortunately rolled out of his dismount on the landing on the vault. Oh. So to pick himself back up and produce a 14.6 is great. You can see the height on that straddle front there, so it's great. That shows his strength of character to be able to do that. I mean, you can see from the toes right the way through, everything is pointed, straight lines, which is obviously what the judges are looking for on this piece of apparatus. They don't want to see small hand adjustments in between the elements, which Bryn isn't doing, and there, the big double front dismount.
Absolutely, and Bryn and James Hall, who incidentally has moved up to 7th place, have high bar, and they'll finish on the floor. But I think that the sense of disappointment from everyone, not least in the arena and everyone back here, was palpable for Oleg Vernayev on this high bar. Now, you explained very eloquently during this why you think he struggled, particularly with the dismount here.
Yeah, I think for this routine he's upgraded it since qualification, but he just hasn't had the time to put the numbers in, and you can just tell by the time he got to the end of his routine he just didn't have the stamina to be able to complete that double twisting double back, which he would normally be able to do, and you can see he's still struggling with that shoulder injury. He's not had the time to get back to his full fitness.
He's really only had about 7 weeks since he started properly full training once again, so it's a heck of an effort from the Ukrainian, but looks like he's out of it. But who is going to be in it to win it? Let's find out.
Yep, this is where we start to get to crunch time. 2 more pieces of apparatus left to keep the spectators interested and on the edge of their seats. And it is tight at the top, it really is. And Zhao Ruteng of China won it last year in the absence of Kohai Uchimura. He was a contender in the World Championships, but injured his ankle in qualifying and wasn't able to contend the individual all-around title. It went to China, and so now Zhao Ruteng looking to try and make it back-to-back world all-around titles. But he's got 2 Russians snapping at his heels, Craig, and Dalalayan and Nagorny as well. And Nagorny was well tipped at the start of this competition that he'd be one to watch, and so it's proving.
He certainly has, and it's a real shame Vernayev just messing up on that last piece of apparatus. He's always struggled on the high bar, and as Beth pointed out there, probably just a lack of routine fitness, unfortunately. But it is certainly hotting up, and maybe Russia might just pop the table today. We do not know.
Well, the Chinese gymnasts have been absolutely superb on parallel bars. So really, they are now off to what is their piece. This was the piece that they really nailed the win of the team gold, wasn't it? So, mind you, Russia are no slouches on parallel bars as well. They're pretty impressive as well. But it is going to be a bit of a battle, but it looks like we're going to have a chance to see James to start.
Yeah, it'd be interesting watching him on high bar, because he had trouble in qualification on this piece of apparatus, Craig, didn't he?
He did. We know he's normally Mr. Consistent. He's got a very difficult routine. Watch for this now. Only just on there, the full twisting Kovacs in the straight position. Does it again in the tuck. That's great connection there. Full turn, and again arm's length. That's what the judges are looking for. Now it just needs to settle down the rest of the routine. So judges, this is where the in-bar work, this is it. See, the squat they saw with full turn, and that was a little bit late. Slow down, that's better. Squat with the half. Just needs a dismount to finish. Come on, James. Kick it up. Double twisting, double straight. Well done, James.
Fantastic work from James Hall. He's a great high bar worker, but we have seen him stall a couple of times. So he and his coach will be absolutely thrilled to see that routine through. And he's really very exciting. He goes for broke, doesn't he? You can see the full twist. And there you can see Paul Hall, who's the performance director for the men's program, and recently taken that on. You'll have known him famously as the coach of Lewis Smith, I'm sure. But they'll be delighted to have seen that performance from James.
Top work from James Hall. He was in 7th, remember, inside the top 10 at the end of the 4th rotation. So he's only got one more piece of apparatus to go. This is where the battle for gold is, though. This is the man who's in the leading position at the moment, the defending champion.
He's in the parallel bar final, qualified in 8th with a 15, so you can expect something sharp. Front up rise into the double back. See the pads on the upper arms. Under somersault with half turn. Into the long swing. Another under somersault. That's nice. Long swing into the double back. Kicks out. There's plenty of time. High in the straddle front somersault as well. Pirouette to the end. He'll travel back down the bars now. That's the tipelt. That's one of the requirements. Double pipe back. Well, that will keep the pressure on the Russian men.
Well, they're all very happy, the whole of the camp there from China. That was very good, solid stuff, wasn't it? Good height and flight. Always technically fantastic. You know, the technique used for each move is so precise that it's easy to string them together like that. The flight along the bar, the lift to handstand, snap the feet strongly together. And just the double pike dismount, but he opens out at exactly the right moment to make the landing.
He's got a determined look in his eye. His support camp love it.
Well, he's certainly going to lay the challenge with that. Should be a 15 or thereabouts. It'll need to be big.
Well, he's the first of this leading pack to go on this apparatus. 15.333. It is a big score. It's a case now of what can the rest do to overhaul him. They've got this piece, and they've got the high bar to finish with, the leading pack. It's time for things to change. We've seen late twists in the team competitions already. What drama are we going to have here yet?
Well, of course, actually, it was on the high bar that we did see the drama, and we saw the mistake made by Rotang, but that was a solid parallel bar routine.
Kenzo Shirai then found himself having slipped right down the order. Has a lot of ground to make up, but he's a class performer.
Strong start. Should be a very good parallel bar worker, but just bent the elbows. All the swings up to handstand should be as straight as possible. Lovely double somersault. Recovered well. Good height there. Very smooth and clean. Have to put the difficult moves together, and that's a very good front somersault and into another one, building his difficulty. No problem with the dismount, double front, half turn, all the multiple somersaults. He's very efficient on, but there was a little error there, Craig, wasn't there?
There was, and this is where the difficult part of parallel bars, anything that turns to one bar and then turns out, that's where you struggle to get your hand on, and that's why you get extra bonus. As we say, big risk. But that there, the long swing into the double back, back somersault, half turn, immediately front up rise into the straddle front somersault. He had big difficulty in qualification of 6.2. I think in Japan at the minute they'll be looking for somebody to replace Uchimura as the all-rounder, and he'll be one of those wanting to fill that spot.
Now, what's James Hall got? 13.6, so pretty good score, and he did come off in the qualifying on high bar, so very well done, James. It's actually the best we've seen, other than Oliver Hagee on high bar thus far. We have got all the leaders yet to go on that piece of apparatus. He can be well pleased with that performance.
7 in the executions, and it wasn't really on the releases. There's the score, Kenzo Shirai, 13.866 for parallel bars.
Little bit down on difficulty score, just a 5.8.
Surprising, and he was down a bit on his score as well, so makes a big difference.
All the big hitters yet to come. Sun Wei now for China was one of the top qualifiers. Hasn't quite pulled out all the scores to be challenging for the medals in his top 3 places just yet, though.
Should be a strong piece of apparatus. No problem there. Front up rise into the double back. And they're very assured with the hand positions. So important. Parallel bar work. Front up rise. High in the straddle front somersault. That's good. Height above the bars to catch. Quickly into handstand. A Healy turn. Front up rise. Double front with the half turn. Another solid parallel bar performance from the Chinese.
Well, we've seen that dismount done by loads of people, the double front half out, but that's the only one I've seen properly kicked out at the top and floated down. I loved that dismount.
And you often see some of the gymnasts having to cowboy the knees, put the legs apart, but certainly not the Chinese gymnasts. I mean, technically, everything they do is always as close to perfection as we'll see.
Yes, and that's why they can link all their skills so well and make it look so easy, really. Super swing. And a beautiful handstand line. This is the dismount, I think, isn't it? Double front, kick it out at the top and float down. Beautiful work.
I've seen some enormous scores on parallel bars in this competition so far. 15s from the defending champion Zhao Ruteng and indeed from Oleg Vanayev. They're the front runners who've been setting the standard.
It is probably the piece of apparatus we do see the best scores, really.
You can see there the appreciation. They just swing the bars with ease. I think that's the thing. They make it look effortless.
And a 14.8, that's a very strong score. Brilliant on the execution from Sun Wei. That might just set the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of challenging to get amongst those medals. He's laying down a gauntlet for those who are coming behind him.
Well, we've got 3 gymnasts all capable of posting a 6.4 in difficulty, which is more difficult than any of the gymnasts that have gone in this round so far.
And of course, this is one of them. He's the reigning European champion on parallel bars, Arthur Dalalayan, and he's sitting in the silver medal position.
And cleanly through that opening element that caught him out in the team competition. Lovely lift, working right on the end of the rails. Really swings from one end to the other. Super height, clears the rails. The idea is to join the feet behind, move into the next element. Very nice turn. So easy to go off to one side and hit the bar. The front summy in the middle, almost making it look effortless. Legs locked together tightly. Here it comes, double front, half turn. perfect landing. That was very strong. Qualification, he posted a 6.4 difficulty. If they've credited everything, that's what he will again.
That looked absolutely fabulous. Craig, what say you?
Well, I think that's a 15. He fell off in the team competition and was probably one of the reasons. This was the start he fell off on in the team competition and probably cost Russia the team gold medal. So he'd be wanting to put that behind him. But for me, this routine has a bit of everything. It has multiple somersaults, it has great control skills, the flight above and below the bars, and then this, the double front somersault with a half turn. Yeah, I mean, China have asked the question and it looks like Russia have responded.
Got the answers at the moment, haven't they? It was such a crushing disappointment for him in the team final, and you could just tell how he felt the weight of expectation, but that's a massive score, 15.566. It's not quite as big as Fenaya's, but it's enough to overtake Zhao Ruteng at the top of this leaderboard. I don't know whether it's too soon to have a look at when Russia first... Oh, I'm going to have a look when they first got a world all-around medal was nearly 10 years ago. Nearly 20 years since Russia had a world all-around champion.
Well, there's a lot of work to go yet. That high bar has cost many a person a title. So they all know they have to keep concentrating right to the very end.
The pressure is well and truly on. It's hotting up. That's what we like to see. Samuel Michalak, he's still smiling. He's been smiling from the very start of this competition.
Well, there's another big parallel bar worker. He can go 15. It's in the P-bar final. Another complete parallel bar worker. Lots in here. Under somersault half turn. And again, locks out with straight arms. That's nice. Plenty of height and flight. Suarez into the front somersault, into long hang swing. Again, swings through well on the Bavzar. Good in the Tipelt. There's another 6-4 on difficulty. Double front half turn, well, it must be super glue time on those mats on parallel bars because they really are nailing those landings.
A really zippy routine, that, wasn't it? Very fast, full of energy.
There used to be a marks for originality in gymnastics, and for me, some of these parallel bar routines now are really original work. And then virtuosity used to be given, so the height and the way they perform the skills, if it was virtuous with height over the bars. So yeah, I think another routine in the 15s, Chris.
Yeah, I would agree. Really strong challenge here.
He was fourth when we last saw the leaderboard. We've still got Nikita Nagorny to come after him now, the final gymnast on this apparatus. He is loving life. Simone, she's enjoying it as well.
Simone Biles appreciating it as well.
Morgan Hurd.
Yeah, all the teams are here in the audience supporting the men.
What will the score be? Will it take him into the 15s? Will it take him amongst the medals? He's never had a major medal in the all-around. This is the man who's got top spot at the moment.
They'll all be trying to just keep focusing.
Ooh, gets him into the bronze medal position with a big 15.441. Very well done, Sam Michalak.
Well deserved, that score. Good routine. You know what, I sometimes prefer to see the Americans going round as individuals, the team. You know, it's a lot of whoop whoop, and I almost think if they're left to concentrate, that's what we see. But great for the USA.
Now, here is the answer to the questions. The final answer in this rotation on this piece of apparatus with the leaders. Russia's Nikita Nagorny. It was a Russia 2-3. At the end of the last rotation, we've now got a Russian number 1. Where will Nagorny place himself?
Well, he's got another 15 in qualification. It's a strong piece of apparatus for him. Under somersault to one bar, Healy turn. That's a big skill. And again, half turn out. Long swing. did well, swing out of the Makuts. Such a compact gymnast. Oh, did well then to pull it back in. Oh, he did well to control that. Was a bit offline going into the front uprise. You can see his teammate going, oh, you're a bit lucky there, but well saved.
Well, he fought, didn't he? You can see he's a character who's really competitive and really pumped for action, can't you? And sometimes that can just work against the gymnast a little bit. I think he's very suited to the team competition where he can push his energy.
Yeah, some people feed off each other, don't they?
Yeah, because he created that step. He landed perfectly.
Now this was the inquiry, and Kenzo Shirai has had his score changed to 14.266. So when we next see the leaderboard, this was his pommel horse, Kenzo Shirai. Or is that referring to his parallel bars routine?
So that's gone up 6 tenths.
Yes. Well, it didn't actually say what it related to, did it?
Well, Nagorny's just outside the medals now, 14.866. So not his best parallel bars, wasn't able to hit those 15s. So he does drop just outside the medal positions for Russia. It really is getting tight at the top as we get to the pointy end of the competition. It does mean that Samuel Mikulak is occupying bronze medal position though for the USA, and just how much would a medal in this competition mean to him? It's going to all come down to the final piece. On the high bar then, Kazuma Kaya of Japan.
Oh, slow start, but that was a lovely turn right into handstand. Here comes the big release. The Stup Kachev, here it is in the straddle position. Oh, and the swinging against the joint, very nicely out of it. You have to swing in forward and backward grip. He's shown good variety so far. Full pirouette straight into the Markelov. He's swinging well and keeping the routine moving. Winds up, big double twist dismount. Not a flicker on that landing. That was a very strong routine. Pirouettes were good. Not such huge releases as some we've seen, Craig.
No, definitely not, but I think some of the better turns towards the handstand, and that's, if you look where James Hall did, his execution was way down, not from the releases, I think from the turns, and this is where he did quite well. You know, the straight catch, he just had to cock his feet back a little bit to get over the bar, which just proves the lack of height a little bit. So he's obviously clipped them a few times in training. And the straddle Kachev, not the most difficult, but this was interesting work. The Steinemann swing around the bar. There you can see the hang guards and that little bit of leather, which is known as the dowel. And that helps the gymnast stay on the bar. Good dismount, double twisting, double straight.
Can see the eyes focusing on the mat and not allowing the body to move around. He really was very well disciplined on that dismount.
He was in 5th position coming into this penultimate rotation. Now the 13.733, he's dropped down to 6th, Kazuma Kaya.
Not such high difficulty, 5.7 on the difficulty score.
Well, he had a 5.5 difficulty in qualification, so he'd obviously upped it a little bit. And that's obviously reflected in the score. He's gone about 4 tenths higher.
Well, the interest, though, is all at the top of the leaderboard and who is in those medal positions. Going into the final piece of apparatus for the leaders, they will finish on the high bar, fraught with drama, with excitement, with risk. And they will be looking to go all out to try and get one-upmanship, take that gold medal. So waiting for confirmation on those final scores. It could be Russia, could be China. could be America yet. Here we go, it is Artur Dalalayan leading the way for Russia. The defending champion Zhao Ruteng occupies silver medal position. It's very tight at the top though, and Samuel Michalak a chance for a medal. James Hall is up into that top leaderboard. He's into 8th place. Tremendous performance from him going around the 6 pieces. Bryn Bevan, he had a fall on high bar, scored just 11.766. So he will be down towards the bottom half of this leaderboard, and he's in 20th position then for Bryn Bevan. But we move on to the final rotation. Who will it be? Won't be long to find out.
Well, we talked about a cliffhanger, Beth Tweddle, and we've certainly got one. There is 0.067 marks between the Russian and the Chinese, and we are in for it's a kind of carbon copy in reverse, as it were, of the team competition. And when you look at the respective marks in high bar between Dalalayan and Zhao, in qualifying, 0.3, it was Zhao in front. Now, this is going to get extremely interesting here. It's a question of nerve now, surely.
It sure is. It's down to nerve. It's down to that final landing. So the judges will be looking for the dismounts to nail with no stop. Obviously, we know Ruteng obviously had that fall in the team final when the pressure was on. So it's going to be a close one. And I have no idea who to put my money on.
I do wonder to what extent the very first piece of apparatus, the floor, could play a part in this, because remember, Zhao, who's the defending champion from China, was upgraded after appeal by 0.2 of a mark. Now that seems like a whisker, but it might indeed be enough just to haul him back up there.
Yeah, you can now see why they put in the inquiries. They actually put in 2 inquiries. One was rejected, one was obviously accepted, and increased his score by that 0.2. So it can make a huge difference. That could be the difference between winning this world title and not.
Well, Zhao is going to be the last man up on this high bar. And of course, the situation was slightly different in the team competition on Monday. He was the penultimate competitor and he fell. So he is not immune to pressure, this guy.
He's not, and it's such a different ball game when you're going up competing for that world title. I mean, all of these gymnasts that are going, Sam, who we're just seeing
Sam
here,
Michalak, yeah.
warming up, he's still in the running as well, because he actually scored 14.5 in qualification, so he had the highest qualification score out of the 3 of them. So it really is going to be down to tenths. And as we saw with Nagorny in the team final, he made a slight elbow bend halfway through the routine, and that cost them the title as well. So it really is all to play for with this last routine.
Well, as you say, Michalak is up into 3rd from America. And as we talked about, as we see Sun Wei there, extraordinary by the way, Sun Wei is the 2nd of the Chinese in this competition. And he actually usurped Lin Xiaopan, who was the silver medalist. You've got to actually beat the silver medalist in the world final to get into this from a Chinese perspective. It shows you the strength and depth.
It is, because you're only allowed 2 per country in the final. So they had 3 that qualified, just as Russia did in the top 24, but unfortunately you take your top 2 qualifiers.
Well, I wonder if there's any going to be room for movement for this man, Nagorny, because at the moment he's 0.5 of a mark off a medal. Sam Michalak, as we were saying, is in 3rd position. Michalak, as we've been stressing throughout the afternoon, is desperate for his first individual medal in the global context here. He's in position. I'm not going to ask where the money's on here, but suffice to say, this is fantastic sporting drama. What once again, men's gymnastics is producing for us.
It is, and I think we spoke about it a bit earlier, that Nagorny isn't, his strongest piece isn't high bar. He had to build up the marks coming into this piece of apparatus, so he is slightly behind on the difficulty and therefore the overall score for this piece. So he is going to have to do the routine of his life and rely on those that are above him to have mistakes. So, yeah, let's get back to the live action.
Let's do it. Craig, Christine, Alison, we're in for an absolutely cracking last rotation here. Who will it be?
Such an exciting piece to always finish on the high bar, and does carry the risk. The gymnasts will know they need to pull out their best performances, their most difficult routines, try and perform them as clean as they can to get the marks, to push for those medals. Kenzo Shirai of Japan will be the first to go. He is 7th in the leaderboard. Almost 3 full marks off top spot. We will work our way through these leading gymnasts. Find out who will be the individual world all-around champion. Kenzo Shirai, first to go on the high bar in this final rotation.
And starts with a quiet hop over the bar, takes an upstart after it. Here comes the big release. Very nicely performed. Is able to swing straight out of it. Oh, and I love that. The front somersault with full twist, but it was a little bit low. And again, he had to take an upstart. He didn't swing straight out of it. That was very nice indeed. Lots of difficulty in here and good variety. That was, the turns need to be right on top of the bar. That wasn't too bad. Big change of swing, big dismount, double twist, great landing. Well, he's done his job. That was a pretty good high bar routine under the pressure.
Certainly was. One of the most difficult routines in this top bunch there. Really interesting, the straight Jaeger with a full twist from the inverted grip. So difficult. I think that's as good a high bar routine as we've seen. And certainly where he started off well and he slipped down the table, he's moved his way back up. And there you can see plenty of height there in the layout Kovacs. There, a straight Markelov over the top of the bar. So that arm bend on the catch will pick up a 10th, but there you go, not too bad there on the straight half turn. Winds up. There you can see, so spatially aware, this gymnast. Double twist, a piece of cake for him.
I mean, we've known him as a floor and vault specialist, but he's improved dramatically on his all-around. We haven't seen absolutely every piece that he's performed, but the bits we've seen have looked very impressive.
Certainly have.
Yeah, a bronze medal at the last Worlds in the all-around in Montreal, so just showing how much he has upped his game over the years. And it's always been somewhat in the shadow of Uchimura.
Of course, and I think with the door slightly ajar with Uchimura's fitness, can he do? You know, imagine in your home games becoming the Olympic champion. He's one of those knocking on the door.
Yep, and Japan in the team competition have booked their place. A solid 14 from Kenzo Shirai, an excellent score. I've only seen one of the score in the 14s on the high bar in this men's all-around final. Mikolakis pumped up. Support for each other as well as for themselves. Sun Wei of China, the second of these final gymnasts to go on the high bar.
Solid in the team final. That's not too bad, the stoop with the full turn. He's got the releases, that's nice. Plenty of flight and connected. Straight Katchev with a straddle half turn. Squat this low half turn there, a little bit late. Wasn't really on top of the bar. That's difficult as well. Straight Katchev with the half turn. Throws in a straight Markelov for good measure. Lots of difficulty. Stolder, the in-bar move, wraps up. Double twist, little hop on landing. Well, two routines we've seen so far and been pretty good.
I like that high bar work. That was very exciting. His releases were beautiful technique, were really fully extended body. Look at the shape, and you know, like you said, Craig, anytime you bend the elbows to catch, it's a bit of a deduction. We didn't see any bent elbows there. That was the thing. This was the bit where he came out a little bit late. And that will be a deduction, but a really impressive, clean high bar work for me.
And this 23-year-old in his very first World Championships come away from here with the team gold with China. And yeah, Hazel mentioned that to even be in this all-around final, he had to finish above his teammate Lin Xiaopan, who was the world silver medalist last time out. So he's a real talent.
Yes, and he's one of the very few people in this final that hasn't figured previously. So he's very little experience at this level.
And this is a huge moment now for Arthur Dalalian, preparing for his final routine as the leader of the pack. He has to wait for Sun Wei's score though, 14.266. That's a very good score for him on high bar. And he has now put himself in amongst the mix. He was in the 5th spot in the leaderboard coming into this. Dalalian, this young man leads the way. Go clean, he'll be thinking, but go big as well.
14 in qualification, but it's a big routine. He knows this could be for the world title. Super flight there in the layout Kovacs. There's another one in the tuck position. Nice there with the straight Kachev half turn. Come on now, that's good. Another straight Kachev, he's going for broke. Lovely line in the handstand. Another straight Markelov into long swing. This could be it for the world title. Winds up, full twisting double back straight, sticks the landing. Well, the rest will have to beat that.
He couldn't have done any more. He's had a great competition and he's laid the challenge down.
It's going to be nervous times for him to see how these final competitors go, but the smile says he gave it everything. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. Russia have only ever had one world gold medalist in the all-around in history. That was back in 1999. Just to give some context to what this achievement would mean for him personally, but the Russian nation as well.
Well, he swings high bar beautifully. Lovely extension through everything. You can see his legs glued together. He didn't hold back at all. That was what was so impressive. He went for broke. Just a single twist on the dismount, but look at the height, and flares the arms out to ensure a really solid finish.
And he's over 12.467 to take the lead. One thing that's impressed me with these gymnasts is their landings. They've been absolutely superb.
The hours and hours in the gym, making sure you know exactly where the floor is, how to land.
Well, 2 Russians in this final rotation, and they could both end up on the podium. Who knows? Keita Nagorny has yet to perform his final routine. He was in 4th place coming into this last piece. And it is enough to keep the top spot with still 3 gymnasts to come. But he's done his job. He's done what he could do. He scored well, and he occupies the gold medal position. And now all this man can do is watch and wait. And Samuel Mikulak of the USA is one who is desperate to try and topple him, and not least to stay amongst the medal. He occupied bronze spot coming into this final piece. Sam Mikulak, who's never had an individual all-around medal at a major championship before.
Well, he's certainly capable of a very exciting high bar. Here it comes, full twist. USA very often great on high bar. Oh, but he brought that one in close. He did well to work out of it. Here comes the Kachev series. Very nice stoop Kachev, straddle Kachev with the mixture as well, but only one hand caught. This will be a very expensive high bar routine. You have to go for it. Good one arm circle. Squat dislocation right into handstand, that's good. Hop full turn. Then his close bar work. Changes the swing, lifts up high, 2 twists, super landing, just a little hop. But there were mistakes in the middle, and I think they might just be too costly.
I've got to agree with that, Christine. As much as we wanted him to get through, You can see he did so well to get out of that first, just showed the strength in the shoulder angle, but then with the hand coming off and the extra swing, you know, it just proves, you know, the competition climaxes on this last piece of apparatus.
Oh, even the best of them, the pressure can tell.
I mean, that was a big release there, no problem catching, full twist in the straight go back position, and then in the tuck. This is where he caught close. Anybody else would have eaten that bar then. I mean, that just proves what a strong gymnast he is. And it has a real variety to this routine, like Christine said. You know, it's not just one-sided with one release. Such a shame, but I think that will definitely knock him out of the medals.
I love the way he didn't drop off, though. He just carried on and improvised, didn't he?
A real fighting performance. Sam Michalak is impressed again. He showed so much heart throughout this individual apparatus, the all-around final.
We've seen it time and time again with him in competition. Yep. You know, could he manage with the pressure? And yet again, unfortunately, it's a no.
Agonisingly close for him.
Well, with the adrenaline pumping, it's so difficult to keep your cool. So difficult. And, you know, the American psyche is to be pumped for the occasion, isn't it?
Well, Kenzo Shirai is the man in bronze medal position at the moment following his bar routine. And he's praying and praying that he can hang on to that top spot. After Michalak's score, 2 more gymnasts to come, including the final gymnast is the defending champion Zhao Ruteng. Where will Michalak place, though? Oh, he has snuck up into bronze, 12.366. But you have to say, with 2 more to come, Nikita Nagorny and Zhao Ruteng, that he may not hang on to that medal. All eyes on this man, who could be the champion. In the meantime, I'm going to watch a few more routines. And Nikita Nagorny, teammate of Dalalayan, who's in 4th, coming into this final piece. Looking at the scores, Zhao Ruteng, who was in 2nd position, if he's to overtake Dalalayan to take top spot, he's going to have to score more than 14.234. But for now, this is all about Nikita Nagorny of Russia.
2 chances for the title for Russia. It just needs to keep the concentration. That's nice. 3 big releases. Now control. That's good, come on. Stoop full turn into the handstand. With the half turn. Again, straddle catch with ease. And again with the half turn. Certainly not holding back. Intricate one arm, long swing. Could all be down to the dismount. Winds up, kicks in, double twist in, double back. Well, the arm goes up of his teammate. Those guys could not have done any more on this final piece of apparatus, and he was praying it'd be good enough.
Well, it was a very strong routine. He kept his focus, kept his concentration. You could really see him screwing himself down to be able to give a really good performance. They've been a great pair around this competition.
Absolutely fabulous to watch. Rivals but teammates. And disappointment for the team in the team event, because we noted at the time we'd never seen a group of gymnasts so disappointed with a world silver. But for them both to be vying for the gold in the individual all-around now, particularly Dalalayan, given that he made that big error on parallel bars in the team final. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure watching these two.
It certainly has. We've seen them come so close in the past, haven't we, Chris?
We have.
We have pipped these young Russians for the past couple of years. They are a team to watch.
Oh, he's in the silver medal position, 13.9. It's a Russia 1-2 at the moment, with one more gymnast still to come. They know they're guaranteed medals. Will it be gold, silver? Will it be silver, bronze? It's going to come down to the defending world champion, who is the last man to go. This man here, Zhao Ruteng of China.
Well, he certainly has all the pressure on his shoulders. Had a mistake in the team competition. He'll be very keen to put that behind him. And really, if he can go clean, he should be able to take it. Can he do that? Big swing. This, the very difficult element. Here we go. Full turn, and he catches cleanly, swings out of it. Needs to keep focus, needs to keep swinging strongly. Straight Kachev. Just a little bit bent-armed. Straddle, lovely and high. Good power over the bar. And with the half turn, that was a nice swing out. Hits the pirouette as he wants. Hops over the bar. Keeps the swing going, up into handstand again with the half turn. Another little hop full turn. He's got to make this high and clean. He does, he does. He makes that landing. Well, he's answered his critics. He's gone through. It'll all be in the hands of the judges now and the mathematicians. What great performances we've seen from these young guys.
Cannot ask for more than this in a final. Two Russian gymnasts who are desperate for medals. A man who's looking to defend a title. And other than Kohei Uchimura, who managed 6 world all-around titles back-to-back, you rarely see gymnasts do a double back-to-back world all-around titles, Craig. But he's got it within his grasp. He needs 14.234 to overtake and get top spot.
Well, he had a 14.433 in qualification. That was a pretty good routine for me. You know, as much as I'd like to see Russia take the title, I think, you know, that routine probably deserves to take it. He hit his handstands well. He didn't hold back at all. And we saw him fall off. And to go under that pressure, knowing you've fallen off in the team competition, that's what a champion's all about. So I think the pressure was on him, and a worthy winner if it's good enough to take it.
And I think it's always much, much harder to come and defend a title than win in the first place. He'll have had a lot of pressure, and you can see exactly how much pressure there is behind these guys. It's the whole weight of a nation. And both in China and Russia, gymnastics is the ultimate sport.
Will Russia have only their second ever world champion in the individual all-around, or is it going to stay with China and stay with Zhao Ruteng?
That's the target
what he needs.
Score.
That's what he needs.
It's like a TV show waiting for the score.
Oh, he hasn't got it! The title goes to Russia! It goes to Dalalayan! And Ruteng has been toppled. Look what that means.
Oh, what a fantastic final we've had here, and how great to see the spoils being shared. China made it by the slimmest of margins in the team competition, and Russia have done it today.
Well, the scoreboard will look very interesting because it was a joint score, but it's Dalalayan who comes out on top on the tie breaks. And 2 Russians on the podium. Their last medal in an all-around came in 2009, but their last world individual all-around champion was 1999. Russia have not had scenes like this for nearly 20 years. Well, just give us an idea of the context of this for Russia then, and
well, this is
what a platform this could be for them.
Massively significant for this Russian team, because certainly going into this, we were thinking that China and Japan would really push, but Russia have been working so hard, haven't they, Christine, the last couple of years, and this young team, you could see the disappointment, mainly from Baliavsky in the team competition, because he realises his days are numbered within this team. It's all about the young blood, but you can see there exactly the same score. And we're just going to look at the tie-break rules.
Well, what has happened is that when the scores are tied, in the case of the all-around final, they look at the gymnast who has the highest sum of their final apparatus scored. So they add together the total of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of their highest final apparatus. And so it is Dalalayan who comes out on top in that case. I mean, it couldn't be tighter.
No,
literally.
It couldn't. And you're right, Craig, China and Japan have been so dominant for the last 10, 15 years. Russia have really gone back to the drawing board and worked so hard with this generation. In Europe, we've seen them coming along so powerfully and strongly. And wonderful to see it come to fruition. But the Chinese gymnasts as well, absolutely superb. They fought every step of the way. And how about that, James Hall in the top 8 in the world? Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's an outstanding performance from James to go through and be within that top leading group. Remember, he qualified in 7th place. And so we'll find out as well exactly where Bryn Bevan has finished 18th for him. So he had an up and down ride across the 6 pieces, didn't he? A fall off the high bar, struggled a little bit earlier on as well. But given that he wasn't even in the team to start with, and he has had a lot of injuries as well, it's all part of the learning curve for him.
And he hasn't been our big all-rounder used to handling this pressure. It'll be a great experience for him. He certainly will have gained from it and be ready to come next time the opportunity presents itself with a lot more experience behind him.
And let's not get away from the fact Bryn Bevan is now ranked 18th within the world, and James Hall made the top 10, ranked 8th. So fantastic results for the British lads.
Well, they finished on floor, the pair of them, and Bryn Bevan, for the up and down nature of his all-around, had a really fantastic floor routine, hardly a hop in any of his landings, 14.366, finishing with a final score of 79.564. And James Hall, brilliant floor routine, 14.1 for his 84.298. So lots to build on for the British men, and James Hall in particular. So what an exciting finale to the men's all-around competition, and we see Russia return to the top with a gold, and Dalalayan, the world champion in the individual all-around, only the 2nd ever champion for Russia in this particular competition. Fantastic competition. So Dalalayan with the gold medal. The silver medal goes to the defending champion who's lost his title, Zhao Ruteng. And then Nikita Nagorny, a huge talent again for Russia, takes the bronze.
Well, there were tears on Monday from our new champion in the individual all-around, because he was the man, Arthur Dalalayan, whose mistake on the parallel bars really cost Russia the gold in the team. And what redemption, what retribution he's wreaked upon the Chinese today. But it literally couldn't have been any closer. Absolutely
I mean, it was literally down to them scoring exactly the same score, and due to that tie-break rule, it meant that he came out on top. So we said he was a dark horse at the beginning. If he could stay on with pommels, he would take the title, and he did it.
Sure did. And funnily enough, this routine, we were both wondering here, it was such a spectacular routine. He was given 14.166, and there were a few heads being scratched here in the studio, because I think there was a feeling that it was worth a little bit more than that, Beth.
To be honest, yeah, he has got a lower start score. He only had a 5-7 difficulty, but the execution, for me, there was very, very little deduction. He had great amplitude on all of the release and catches. He was catching on straight arms. His turns were finishing where they should be. That squat dislow finished in handstand. So when his score came through, I was expecting it to be slightly higher. So yeah, who knows?
It's a 19-year wait for a Russian to win this individual all-around title, which is extraordinary in itself when you think about the pedigree of gymnasts that have come from that part of the world. But This will mean a huge amount to the Russians.
It will mean, especially after Monday and finishing second to the Chinese. And to be honest, I think once they'd saw the Chinese do his last routine, I think they'd kind of in their minds gone, do you know what? It was a great routine. We're in second and third. And when the score came up and showed that he had taken the title and that the Chinese had split them, they were just over the moon. I mean, for Nagorny as well to be in third, you could really see how much it meant to the two of them.
Well, the next piece of drama, as we saw Sam Mikulak step up there, desperate for this first individual medal in any piece at the World Championships, and he was hanging on to it, literally trying to hang on to it, but it just didn't happen for him once again. It's such a tough and rather cruel piece of apparatus to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally fractions of seconds that can make or break a routine, and he started off so well. Here's the big full twisting Kovac, and then did exactly the same skill, but with the tuck, and came in, he was making sure that he had hold of the bar, but came in slightly short, so then it broke his swing a little bit. He managed to regain himself, did the Kachev really well, but it was on these second connections of Kachev's, his hand just didn't quite get hold of the bar. But we spoke about it earlier in this programme about his inconsistency, and when the pressure is on, that's usually when he buckles, and unfortunately today he had looked so superb throughout the competition, and it just came down to that last little bit of nerve and holding it, and couldn't quite do it.
He just finishes outside the medals again. Many of you will remember when he was fourth in this particular piece in the Rio Olympics, just failing to get onto the medal podium again. But suddenly there was a huge change in emphasis. We saw Nikita Nagorny step up and ultimately go into second place, and then it was all down to Zhao Ruoteng. And now, remember 12 months ago in the World Championship, he'd come from 6/10 behind in this final piece of apparatus to take the title. And I think there was, as you say, a kind of almost acknowledgement from everybody else that's been enough. But how did you rate, and where do you feel he was marked down in this routine then, Beth?
Do you know what? I personally, when I saw the routine, I thought he had just done enough. I mean, in qualification, he did score a 14.4. So, and it was a very clean routine. You can see here the full routine we're going to see again. The big release and catches, there's the very unusual full twisting release, which is what he had the problems with in the team final. And he has got a class. There's very little line deductions that you can take. Slightly bent arms there on the Kachev. And then there's another Kachev. But to be honest, I think with the high bar, we have seen the scores have been a lot lower throughout the World Championships. So I really don't know where he lost the extra 2/10 that he had got in qualification. I mean, you can see a slight leg separation there in the squat half, and then he builds up for the dismount, which the double twist, and had that small hop. Was that small hop what cost him the title?
Which is amazing to think, isn't it?
But you can see the reactions there. It's almost as if to say, do you know what? Yeah, he's got it.
But he didn't. And you've got to say, this bodes so well for the next couple of years as we build up to Tokyo, doesn't it? Because with this quality and with this closeness of competition, goodness knows what we're going to get from these
Do you know what?
guys.
It's been great, because obviously over the past few years we've been so used to Uchimura kind of dominating the men's. It was kind of who's going to come second and third, a bit like we'd have with the women's with Simone Biles. So now that it is a real fight, all the countries are fighting for those top spots and individually fighting. It makes it a really interesting for our sport.
And you've got young men, I mean, these guys are 21, 22 years of age. You've got Nagorny, who's clearly a real talent. He's going to be there or thereabouts in a couple of years' time. And you've got the likes of Oleg Vernayev as well from Ukraine. He's still not finished, but there we go. There is the champion there, and he can't believe it. Now, what a complete contrast to... He was actually curled up in a corner. I saw pictures of this after the team competition. He really did disintegrate after feeling, I'm sure, that it was all down to him that they'd lost that one. But they've done it. And I think the take-home as well from a British British perspective, we've seen James Hall in 8th place there, Bryn Bevan moving up from 22nd to 17th. What a positive day for British gymnastics too.
It is a positive day. For James to be finishing in the top 8 in the world is a huge achievement and will give him even more confidence 2 years out from Tokyo. And obviously Bryn, we know throughout the competition, did have a few errors, so to still be in that top 17 is fantastic. You can just see here James Hall's routine on the high bar there, huge releases that he's got. He's known for this piece of apparatus. There's the big double Kovac somersault. Another Kovac somersault, but this time using the full twist. I mean, and these are really big skills, especially under pressure. Slight fractions of a second and you come a cropper.
Well, this time last year at the Montreal World Championships, he was there for the first time, but didn't make any of the finals. And then 12 months later, he's 8th in the world. This is it's been a massive year for him, actually.
It has, and I think he's made that real step up now, and I think he believes in himself. He's not just there to make up the numbers in the team. He is there to be contending, and it was really nice to hear him talking about the likes of Daniel Purvis. He used to watch him finishing in the top 10, and now here he is finishing in the top 10 in the world, and he's still got a lot of time to grow and a lot more competitions to be able to improve on that.
Max Whitlock actually was quoted the other day as saying he just felt just a little tinge of regret potentially that he's not involved in this all-around competition. He's just actually focusing these days on floor and pommel horse. Is there a chance, do you think, as he comes towards his 27th birthday by Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't obviously shut it down completely. He's taken the time just to focus on these 2 pieces. It's really nice now. Obviously, with James finishing in the top 8, they do actually get announced out, so he gets his moment in the limelight. But yeah, with Max, he hasn't shut the door completely on the all-around. He's taken that time to work on those 2 pieces of apparatus, and for sure he can still come back in the all-around if he would like to. Obviously, it's something for him and his personal coach to work on, and it is hard to go from being an all-round gymnast to just a specialist because you totally lose one whole competition. And for Max to sit in the audience today, he will have been remembering his moments in Glasgow and Rio and thinking, oh, if only I could be out there.
Well, there is Sam Michalak. He's going to have to settle for 5th place this time in the all-around. And there seems to be a bit of a positive move in men's gymnastics in America. Yul Mulder, we're going to see a lot of him as well. He was in this one. But as for some of the young Chinese coming through, Sun Wei, who performed very well here and indeed has come 4th in what is his first all-round competition. But the top 3 medals are about to be presented, and they're going to be presented to a Russian for the first time as champion here since Nikolai Krukov in 1999, and won't they be delighted about that? So let's hand back to our commentators as we see the medals about to be given out.
Yes, and first out, the bronze medalist is Nikita Nagorny of Russia. Yuri Razanov in 2009 was the last Russian to win a bronze in the men's individual all-around at a World Championships. And for the 22-year-old from China, Zhao Ruteng, well, he was the reigning world champion, but he's being toppled here today, not able to do what has only been done by one Chinese gymnast in history, Yang Wei, winning back-to-back world all-around titles.
Representing the Russian Federation,
But what a moment this is. Artur Dalalayan, world champion for Russia, and their first men's all-around world champion for 19 years. And Christine Craig, Hazel used the word redemption, must feel a little like that for him.
Oh,
Russia
absolutely.
missing out on the team gold, but he's going to have a gold medal around his neck very soon.
Oh, absolutely, and you know, you would feel the weight of responsibility so much for that team. Silver, that they would have desperately loved to be gold, but this makes up for it an awful lot.
It certainly does, and it sends a clear message to the rest of the world, actually, 2 years away from Tokyo, that these guys mean business. So nice to see.
Brilliant competition. going down to the final piece. Had us all on the edges of our seats, a beaming smile as well. And it was nice to see James Hall led out and honoured as the 8th place. They honoured all 8. But a moment now for Arta Dalaline. Shining with emotion. He's been a European champion, but he's upgraded to world champion. What a feeling, and to be able to enjoy it with a compatriot as well makes it a little bit more special. But the ages of these guys, Dalaline 22 and Nagorny 21, plenty of time to even reach their peak, which often comes much later for the men.
Oh yes, but it's great as well just to see a variety of people. The country that'll go home feeling a little bit disappointed, I would imagine, Japan. They came here as world champions, and of course Uchimura has dominated for so many years. To be walking away without medals in the individual all around, I think they will be a little bit disappointed and will be determined to make some changes to that, ready for their Olympics in Tokyo. But this has been great scenes and absolutely lovely to see young guys so delighted with a win.
And certainly a great competition. It goes right down to the final piece of apparatus. Everybody were on the edge of our seats to see who would actually take the title. And I've always said, if you're brave enough to perform a triple back somersault on the floor, you deserve to be world champion. So well done.
And I guess Nagorny's only wishing that that gold could have been his. He might get a chance one day, but he's reveling in his teammate, rival and friend's success, and that is wonderful to see. Arta Dalaline, the new world all-around champion.
More of the sport you expect. Plus, another 1,000 hours of the sport you might not. Now available online, on our app, and on your connected TV. Prepare to be moved.
Yeah, 1,000 hours of coverage. That's 41.5 days of coverage, by the way. It's pretty extensive, and it's quite dizzying live coverage that's coming from St. Petersburg next week as well online of the World Trampolining and Tumbling World Championships, bringing a whole new context, I think, to a Russian Revolution. But tomorrow we will no doubt be marvelling at an American. It's all about Biles as Simone takes aim at a record 4th world all-round title in women's gymnastics, and we'll have live coverage from 1 o'clock. And she was 4.5 points ahead of the field after qualifying for this one. And the pattern of prediction in Doha seems to be it's going to be a fraction of a point or even less than that that's going to decide the men's medals, whereas if it's a women's event, she's likely to win it.
She is. I mean, she's got the difficulty there. It'll be interesting. We saw her play safe with the vault in the team final. Will she play safe or will she go all out, knowing that she has got that advantage? So I think it is going to be a Biles day, and then it's going to be fighting out for second and third, as we've seen for the past few years.
Well, she was in the arena today to watch that men's individual all-around, and yesterday, actually, after she'd done her team duty, helping her teammates to claim that gold medal, she talked to David McDade.
Well, Simone, it's 2 years since we've seen you in a top final like this. I mean, how special is it to have another gold medal around your neck after that long away?
Yes, it's very special because I've trained really hard this whole entire year, and then coming into Worlds, the whole team has trained really hard to be where we are tonight, so we're really excited.
A wonderful team performance, another great performance from you as well, but something we're not used to seeing, a couple of mistakes, sum up your own performance.
Yes, it's always disappointing, but you know, we still go back into practice and work on those little things, and then we have more finals to come.
How different are you as a gymnast since Rio 2016?
I feel like I'm mentally stronger and physically stronger as well, and I know what I'm capable of whenever I step onto the mat.
What would it mean to you to get a 5th all-around title? It's never been done before by women at the world level.
Yes, I think it'd be really exciting, so we'll have to see what happens.
And you're going to be up against Morgan, who's the defending champion, a good friend of yours. What's it going to be like competing against each other?
Yes, I think it's going to be a really fun atmosphere out there with her and with the other girls.
Thank you very much, all the best.
You're welcome, thank you.
Yeah, Simone's going for a record 4th world all-around title, and it would be a 5th global title after a victory in Rio. The statistics are staggering, really, and she's trying to move ahead of Svetlana Korkina in terms of world gold here. But can anyone touch her? And is it all about how much she has? And is it all about setting personal records for her?
I think it is about setting personal records for her. For her to be beaten, she would have to have a few falls, and someone else would have to have the competition of their lives. I mean, even in their national championships, she had a couple of errors and was still on top of the podium. So I do think it's hers definitely to lose. But she does look like she loves her gymnastics. I mean, we always saw her as that bubbly character, but even during that interview, she talks about how she's prepared mentally now in a different way, and also physically, and she's upgraded her routine. And she just, even sat in the audience, she looks very relaxed and just loves doing what she does.
Well, the other day we built up the fact that she'd be going for what is now known as the Biles in the vault, and she was a half twist short. She'll go for it tomorrow, won't she?
I think she will. I mean, it seems to have been consistent, but obviously having picked up this kidney stone and being in A&E, is that affecting her sleeping? Is she more tired? So they're obviously protecting her. Here we can see there's the half on with the 1.5 twist. So she would normally do the extra half twist to land facing forward. So I mean, I guess that's a conversation between her and, you can see her personal coach there, is she physically prepared? Is she tired? Is she struggling with this kidney stone?
Is she still in pain? I mean, she still has this kidney stone, which we understand she's not passed yet.
As far as we know, she hasn't, but it doesn't seem to be affecting her in any way. So it'll be really interesting to see behind the scenes, is it affecting her, and is that why they're having to modify? I mean, are they having to modify her training as well to be able to cope with the pain?
She did have a wobble, though, as David was saying, on the beam, and she was practically kicking herself. She was not amused at this wobble. The same skill, actually, that she had the wobble on at the Rio Olympics.
Yeah, and it's what cost her that 5th gold medal at the Rio Olympics. I mean, her composure on this piece of apparatus, to start with that triple squat spin, is a very difficult element. Very few gymnasts use that. But she spoke to David McDade about it, and she is a perfectionist. She is going to want to rectify that mistake in the all-around competition. She's not going to want to go out there. But I think it's really good for young gymnasts around the world that are watching her to show that these gymnasts do have bad days. It can't be perfect every single time. She is human, and do you know what? Our sport is so difficult that, do you know what? It doesn't always go your way, but her character, her composure, to be able to forget that mistake and go out and do the floor routine to be able to clinch that title. Here we're going to see the pike front somersault, which is where she put her hand down, which is exactly what she did. in Rio.
She'll be back to try and rectify it. You can
totally.
absolutely guarantee that. Kelly Sim and Ellie Downey will also be going for Great Britain. We're looking forward to seeing that. And it will be 1 o'clock tomorrow morning that Beth and I and the team will be back for that. Once again, the men's goal's been claimed, not even by a point, but I suspect the margins might be a wee bit more emphatic tomorrow with Biles on the go. See you soon. Bye.